Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto was the apprentice of Sasori and becomes Puppet's Master Part 1. Before I start, please do support for more amazing content and comments for Part 2. Do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. A man within his early 20s has spiky silver hair often oriented to his left side, dark gray eye, and typically a relaxed, heavy-lidded expression. His left eye is covered with his forehead protector. This, combined with the mask he has used to cover the lower half of his face, giving the man a mysterious look. The Silvernet wears Konoha's standard infantry clothing, a flak jacket, dark blue pants, and a long-sleeve shirt. He also wears fingerless gloves with metal plates on the backhand, and is seen with a chain necklace underneath. This man is Kakashi Hatake, son of Tsukumo Hatake, and known as Kakashi of the Sharingan. He is the team leader of Team Kakashi. Next to him is Granny Chiyo. She was a retired counselor of Sunagakure. She's also a famed puppeteer, the leader of Sunagakure's puppet brigade and a medical nin. Chiyo is an elderly woman with black eyes and lavender-colored hair tied in a bun. In her fight with Sasori, she let her hair loose. She wears the traditional Sunagakure outfit, which consists of a dark-colored, loose-fitting outfit with a poncho-like top. Next to the aged puppet master is the pink-net medical nin Sakura Harino, the second student of Tsunade Senju. Sakura has fair skin, green eyes, and pink hair. Sakura's typical outfit consists of a red top with the same design as the upper half of her Part 1 outfit. Accompanying this are black gloves, low-heel, knee-high boots, black shorts underneath a short gray apron skirt, and gray elbow protectors. The cloth of her forehead protector is changed to red and she starts carrying a medical pouch. Next to Sakura is Naruto Uzumaki, or Naruto Namikaze, but only a few people knows this. He's the student of Jiraiya and Jinchuriki of Kyubi no Kitsune. He has blonde shaggy-looking style, spiky hair and blue eyes, while inheriting the shape of his father's eyes and face. His trademark characteristic are the 3 whisker markings on his cheeks. Naruto wears a dark blue forehead protector, a dark blue-gray robe with gray lining and a fur collar, and a tattered gray-blue cape emblazoned with his clan personal emblem, a large red whirlpool. Underneath the cloak he wears a black tight-skin long-sleeve shinobi shirt. Over it he wears a red armor chest plate similar to that of the one Ashina Uzumaki wore during his time. Underneath the long-sleeve shirt Naruto wears a sleeveless fishnet shirt. Naruto wears red gauntlet. He wears black shinobi gloves, black umbu pants. He has his legs covered in wrapping paper. Strapped to his back are 6 scrolls, and wears black shinobi pants. In front of them is Deidara the Mad Bomber and Sasori of the Red Sand. Deidara is on his clay bird with an unconscious Gaara inside of the mouth. Sasori is inside his Hiriko puppet. Hiriko has a long mechanical, scorpion-like tail, an allusion to Sasori's name meaning scorpion, extending from the mouth of what appeared to be a demon mask on its back. The tail worked as Hiriko's main offensive weapon and was laced with Sasori's specialty poison. The tail could also be used defensively by spinning around Hiriko's body at a rapid speed. Hiriko's left arm was also rigged with a projectile launcher capable of firing poison shrapnel and needles, and its mouth could also be used to serve a similar function of firing poison needles. Deidara had slanted blue eyes and very long blonde hair which he wore drawn into a half ponytail with the rest hanging down freely. The bang hanging over his left eye is what concealed his eye scopes, signifying that he was a long-range fighter. After casting the Awagakure Kenjutsu on himself, he developed a mouth on both of his palms, and on the left side of his chest he had a large stitched-up mouth. He used this Kenjutsu to supplement his explosive release to his clay. He wore their signature cloak, navy blue pants with matching shinobi sandals, and an Akatsuki ring on his right index finger, which bore the kanji for blue or green, AO, and was teal in color. He also wore black nail polish on his fingers and toes. Under his cloak, he wore a V-neck, sleeveless, midriff shirt with mesh armor underneath it along with pants, stirrups, and sandals. He also wore a utility belt with 2 bags on either side, which he used to carry his clay. Deidara smirked at Sasori. Well, if it isn't copycat ninja Kakashi, Kyubi Jinchuriki, and Granny Chiyo, stated Deidara. He then looks at his opponents. You know we're not ordered to capture you, Kyubi Jinchuriki said, a grinning Deidara. But to Deidara's Eri, the blonde shinobi ignores the blonde Akatsuki member Naruto's attention and more on the slump over Akatsuki member. Hello Sasori Masuda, it's been a long. Your partner is quite annoying, said Naruto in a cold voice void of any emotions. This caught his team, Chiyo, and Deidara by surprise from what they just heard. Right now Naruto called Sasori master. The only people who called someone master is those who have nothing but absolute respect. Sasori nods his head. He then gives out a small chuckle. Right, you are. Deidara is quite annoying, my student. Have you completed that project you were working on? Asked Sasori, looking at his blonde student. Naruto nods his head. Yes, I have, Sasori Masuda. It's now ready for battle, stated Naruto, but I see you're using your favorite puppet, said Naruto with a half smirk. Inside the puppet Sasori smirks at his student. Right, you are after all, Hiriko is one of my favorite puppets, stated Sasori. Out of everyone, Sakura looks confused. Naruto, what's going on? What's he's talking about? Why did you just call him master? Yelled Sakura, but it came out as an order, but neither blonde or redhead pay much attention to her. Little girl, stop yelling. That yelling can become your very end, threatened Sasori. Sakura stepped back in fear of what the S-rank shinobi might do. She looks at Naruto expecting to see his happy-go-lucky expression, but to her surprise Naruto was glaring at her with his blue eyes piercing into her green eyes. It almost felt like he was looking into her very soul. Sakura didn't understand. Before catching up with Sasori and Deidara, Naruto was a happy-go-lucky knucklehead, but this Naruto in front of her wasn't the Naruto she knew. No, this Naruto was cold, stoic, unreadable, and serious. Sakura, shut up. What Sasori Masuda and I are talking about has nothing to do with you in any way, so shut the fuck up and stop yelling, said Naruto in a cold tone. Naruto then remembers back when he first met Sasori, his sensei/master/savior, his first precious person to acknowledge him. Flashback 9 years ago. Far away and outside of the walls of Konoha, a 7-year Naruto screams in pain as he roughly thrown on the hard cold ground. Before the young blonde can get up, a metal pipe hits the young Jinchuriki in the stomach, causing Naruto to scream silently as he had the wind knocked out of him. Naruto breathes heavily, trying to catch his breath. He looks at prosecutors with hate. Naruto grits his teeth in anger at the citizens and shinobi before him, who surround him. All of Naruto's young life he never understood why he was hated or why the people of Konoha hated, scorn, and hurt him. He tried asking his surrogate grandfather Hiruzen, but the man wouldn't tell him. He would just say, I couldn't hate them, I should forgive them for hurting me. Naruto would never forgive the villagers who want him dead, but Naruto's train of thought is interrupted when a shinobi hits Naruto's back with an iron staff, causing Naruto to scream in pain with fresh tears. As Naruto cries in pain, a large Akimichi walks up and roughly pulls Naruto's hair, causing the small boy 6-year-old to cry in pain. The Akimichi glares heatedly at the small blonde boy. Demons like you don't deserve happiness will make you pay, growled the Akimichi with his eyes full of age. As Naruto continues to cry, he looks frightened. But I'm not a demon, whimpered Naruto. He then screams and kicks his legs around as the Akimichi tightens his grip on Naruto's head in death-like grip. The Akimicho punches Naruto in the face, breaking his nose, cracking his forehead, and fracturing his top jawline. Shut up, demon spawn, you don't deserve mercy, growled the Akimichi. And Uchiha steps up, glaring at Naruto with her eyes burning red Sharingan eyes. She then sneers in hatred at the helpless blonde boy. Because of Gaki, my clan is being suspected for the destruction of the village and death of Yondaime, growled the female Uchiha. She then glares darkly, and if I prove my clan is innocent, then I'll make you pay. Gaki, the female, goes through hand signs fire release. Lion King Pride Katan, Rayon King Paredo, yelled the Uchiha. She then fires 3 large spiraling fireballs, hitting Naruto in the torso, severely burning his chest. Naruto pants from exhaustion. He then slowly gets up. As he gets up, Naruto breathes heavily. He glares at the 30 citizen and shinobi. At seeing the blonde stand up to them angers them, believing the Kyuubi who's been reincarnated into a human is mocking them. A female Aburame and female Inazaka with a large dark gray hyena glaring at Naruto. The female Inazaka scoffs at this, so the little fox still has some fight in him. Don't you agree, Burokuyamoa? Sick joke, grinned the Inazaka, whose voice is laced with a darkly tone that promised nothing but pain. The hyena cackles as the canine animal laughs darkly at Naruto. The female Aburame smirks at the blonde child. Uzumaki, you should be glad. With your death, the innocent who had been killed by you demon will be at peace, said the Aburame with a tone void of any emotions. Naruto stares at the 2 female clan members with half-open eye and the other one shut close. Naruto breathes hard, sure the blonde has been beaten before, but never had been beaten with an inch of his life. He then glares at the citizen and villagers. I don't pant, no pant, what your cough talking about pant? I never heard. Breathes heavily, anyone, and I'm pant, not a pant demon. And if pant you think pant, I'm not gonna pant, beg to you bastards. Databeo. Breathe out, Naruto. His body starts wobble back and forth. Most children would have died a long time ago, but not Naruto. His stubbornness wouldn't allow these people to get the satisfaction of him begging. This angered everyone, not liking the fact that Jinchuriki won't beg pisses them. They'd full-heartedly suspected Naruto to beg to them to stop and end his suffering, but here that the child was proving even in death he won't beg to anyone, not them, not to death, and not God himself. Everyone grit their teeth in anger, not pleased with the strong-willed Naruto. Kill the brat, yelled the shinobi with a kunai raised up in the air. Make the demon brat suffer, yelled the female citizen. Avenge the Yondaime. As Shinba, the female Aburame and Inazaka glared at him. Find if you want to be stubborn, Uzumaki, then find. You'll die like a stubborn brat, growled Aburame. The Inazaka and hyena glared at Naruto. Inazaka gets on her hands and feet, getting into a dog-like stance, both spins at a ferocious speed. Suga. Tumbling Fong, yelled the Inazaka. They hit Naruto, delivering a devastating, crushing blow. Naruto screams out loud with blood coming out of his mouth. Naruto bounces off the grassy ground, hard landing on his face. As Naruto looks up, seeing a red insect resembling that of a beetle and red fire ant. Upon seeing the insect, Naruto's ocean blue eyes open widely. The last thing Naruto could say was shit before a large flame explosion went, causing Naruto to fly back. Fire release. Burning insect explosion bomb technique. Katan, Konchibaku Hatsubaku Den Beningujutsu, whispered the Aburame. Naruto screams in horror at having his chest and face burnt. Just as Naruto believes his suffering is over, Naruto's right shoulder is pierced by a pitchfork and right arm gets pierced by a spear. forcing the young blonde to give silent screams, but because of the extreme pain he's dealing with, Naruto nearly blacks out from pain, but before darkness can come to the blonde he cries agony as 20 citizen and ninjas start beating on Naruto's pinned down form. While Naruto is getting the beating of his life, Naruto's eyes are void of life. A shinobi walks over to Naruto with a spear raised aiming for Naruto's head. With your death Yondaime will be avenged along with the rest of the people killed by you, demon, yelled the man. Everyone behind cheers in excitement. Naruto closes his eyes awaiting death, but before death can welcome the young blonde, the man who was about to kill Naruto falls dead with a saban lodged into his head. Everyone looks where the weapon was launched, ready to make the person from stopping them kill the Jinchuriki. As they look towards where the saban was launched, they see a hunchback man wearing a black cloak with red clouds. The hunchback man had a long mechanical, scorpion-like tail, extending from the mouth of what appeared to be a demon mask on its back. This man is Sasori of the Red Sand, but unknown to everyone. The person the villagers and shinobi are staring at is one of Sasori's favorite puppets, Hiriko. At the suddenly arrival of the puppeteer shocked them, not knowing who Sasori is. A jounin steps up glaring at the hunchback man. Who the hell are you, demanded the jounin. But Sasori just stared coldly at him. You're probably wondering what's Sasori doing in Konoha. Well, one of his spies, a boy named Kabuto, had gave him information on Danzo, the root, the Uchiha's secret plan to take over the village, and information on the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. After gaining the information needed, he planned to leave, but that stopped when he heard screaming and yelling. Catching his curiosity, Sasori ventured out, and he finds the Kyuubi Jinchuriki being tortured by the so-called good people of Konoha. Seeing this would have shocked the puppeteer, but he knows the life of a Jinchuriki is anything but a happy one. Even if the Jinchuriki is a loyal ninja, protected the village, or even if a leader, the Jinchuriki will always suffer because of people's stupidity and ignorance of not being able to tell a human and Bijou apart. Even though Sasori has joined the Akatsuki and their goal is to capture the Jinchuriki for peace, he knew his leader Pain would be angered by the death of the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, and having to wait for the Kyuubi to reform. He also knew if he allowed these people to kill Naruto, Pain would kill him for allowing these idiots to kill Naruto. Sasori stares coldly at the Konoha people. Who I am is none of your concern, said Sasori in a deep voice void of any emotions. At hearing the cold and emotionless voice of Sasori caused the citizens to back away in fear while the ninjas glared at Sasori for trying to stop them from their revenge. A foolish Chunin stepped up glaring at Sasori. If you stand in our way, you're next, growled the Chunin as he points his kunai at Sasori. Sasori just made a TSK-like sound. TSK, fool, you're not even worth to be one of my collection, said Sasori. At hearing the insult, the Chunin charges at him, not thinking the hunchman can hurt him, but he gets surprised when he feels a pain in his chest. The Chunin cough out blood. He looks down, seeing the scorpion tail pierce through his chest. Sasori then roughly throws the Chunin aside on the ground. Sasori turned his attention to the shinobi and villagers, opens his mouth, and raised left arm was also rigged with a projectile launcher capable of firing poison, shrapnel, and needles. Sasori fires a barrage of poison, needles, shrapnel, and saban, killing every single citizen and ninja with deadly poison. Just as Sasori was going to leave, he hears a raspy cough. Thinking one of the people survived, Sasori lifted the tail, getting ready to poison the last person, but to his shock he sees Naruto cough out blood. He believed the Uzumaki had passed out due to the pain, but no, the child was keeping himself awake with strong will. Sasori walks over to the burnt Uzumaki, staring down at him. With his right arm he pulled out the pitchfork and wrapped his tail around the spear and pulled it out. Naruto screams in pain. He then looks up at Sasori with his emotionless blue eyes. When Sasori looked in the boy's eyes, he saw emptiness, determination, loneliness, hatred, and anger. Sasori then narrows his eyes at the blonde boy, but the blonde boy's image changing to a redhead with shaggy hair and brown eyes. Sasori widened his eyes, seeing himself in Naruto, the redhead man, then decides to something he never thought he would. With extreme care, Sasori grabs his tail around the half-dead Naruto and puts him on the back. Naruto then mutters thank you before darkness welcomes him. Hours later, Sasori and the still unconscious Naruto arrived in a cave. He gently sets Naruto down on a bed, trying not to harm the boy more as he is. As he sets the boy down, he places his right arm over the child's chest. His right arm glows green. It's a good thing Granny taught me the mystical palm jutsu, thought Sasori. As the child heals, the boy's face heals from the burns, but his torso barely heals. While his torso did heal, Naruto's chest severely burned. Once Sasori completely heals the child, the blonde's breathing calmed down, no being steady. Sasori nods to himself, pleased at healing the boy. He then regrettably waits, while the redhead man hates being kept waiting. He knew he must wait for the boy to wake up to speak with him. The next day, Naruto wakes up with an intense headache, and his body sore. Naruto looks around, noticing he's not in the hospital, but in a cave. Naruto runs his hand through his blonde hair. He looks around in confusing. Where the heck am I, said Naruto, thinking out loud. Sasori walks next to Naruto, shocking him. He then calms down, remembering this is the person who saved him. So you're awake, and it seems like you remember me from last night. Good, that means I won't have to repeat myself. My name is Sasori, this is my lair, and I saved you from those fools, said Sasori. Naruto nods his head, thank you, Sasori. This is the first time someone has actually saved me, said Naruto. Sasori nods his head, figuring no one had been there for the child. Now boy, I'm about to ask you something, stated Sasori. Naruto nods his head. I'd planned to have an apprentice, someone to teach, and I've chosen you to be my student, and by doing so, You will have a purpose more greater than you ever known. Before that happens, I want you to pledge yourself to me and only me, said Sasori, gazing at Naruto. Naruto bows his head to Sasori. I pledge myself to you and only you, Sasori Masuda, said Naruto. Flashback end. Both Sasori and Naruto stare at each other with both of their cold gazes while the student and master were having a staring contest. Everyone can feel the strong tension within the air. Naruto, it's time for your final test, said Sasori with his scorpion tail moving side to side. Naruto nods his head. He reaches behind his back and grabs a medium-sized orange scroll with the kanji for jungle. Everyone raise their eyebrows and narrows their eyes, eyeing at the scroll. Naruto pays no attention to them. He pours chakra into the scroll, releasing what has been sealed in the scroll. A large cloud envelopes Naruto. When the cloud clears up, Naruto is standing in puppeteer-like stance with chakra strings coming from his fingers. In front of Naruto is a giant white tiger puppet. The puppet is 12 feet 10 inches tall. The puppet has yellow eyes, sharp weapon-like fangs coated in poison. When the back of the puppet has an emblem of an orange fox. Inside the mouth is a projectile launcher capable of fire over 100 poison needles and Saban. It also has a 3 functions which allows it to fire poison chakra needles. It can shoot a long range of fire, and can shoot a large poison gas, killing its victim. The claws are sharp blades laced with poison paralysis, and toxic poison that disrupts someone's chakra control. On the left paw of the puppet, the tiger has a seal that has the kani for strength. On the right, it has a seal that has the kanji for steel. On the right back leg, there's a seal that has the kanji swift release. And on the left back leg there's a seal that has the kanji acid release. The tail is a long mechanical tail coated with poison. Sasori hums to himself, eyeing the large animal puppet. He smirks within the puppet. I see you've perfected Saba, said Sasori with a hint of being proud. Naruto nods his head. Yes, I have, Masuta. It took a long time, but I've created a new type of puppet, animal puppet, and a new puppet style. I have combined 2 deadly ninja arts into one. With both Fuinjutsu and Kugetsutsukai, I have created my own unique style unlike any other, stated Naruto. But now, Sasori Masuda, it's time to show you how far I've grown, said Naruto. Sasori nods his head, agreeing with Naruto. He too wanted to see how far his student had become, and he wanted to see this new puppet in action. He then turns towards Deidara. Deidara, go ahead. I'll stay here and test my student, said Sasori in a tone not to argue with me. Deidara nods his head. He then commands his bird to fly up, understanding this not going to a fight between enemies, but a fight between master and student, seeing how far the student have gone, and if the student has finally surpassed the master. Deidara gives Sasori a salute. He then smirks at Sasori. You got, Sasori, my man. I suppose this might be the last time seeing you. It's fun to have you as a partner, said Deidara. He then flies off, heading towards the base to do the ritual of extracting the bijou from Gaara. Naruto performs the Kage Bunship no Jutsu. A large cloud engulfs Naruto. Once the cloud clears up, a second Naruto appears next to the original. Naruto pulls out 2 sealing scrolls, one that has the kanji for strength, while the other has the kanji for metal. Naruto slams his hand on the clone. The sealing formula for the Uzumaki clan spreads across his whole torso. Uzumaki sealing maiden, bonding of blood and water. Uzumaki Sharinga Hoho, Chi Tamizu no Kazuna, clone you and Kakashi go. After Deidara and rescue Gaara, ordered Naruto. The clone runs after Deidara. Naruto turned his head, seeing Kakashi had yet went after Deidara, and has a stupid look on his face. Naruto gains a tick mark. What the fuck are you still doing here, Kakashi? Go after Deidara and rescue the Kazekage, ordered Naruto. Kakashi gets about stupor. He then narrow his soul eye at Naruto. After this mission you have some explaining to do, Naruto, said Kakashi. He then runs after Deidara and the clone. Naruto scoffs at Kakashi. He then turns his gaze to Chio and Sakura. You two don't get involved. This between the two of us, said Naruto, daring either one of them to try to get in the way of his and his sensei/master. Sakura is shocked at hearing her knucklehead friend/teammate not wanting them to help. She still doesn't understand what's going on. She doesn't believe Naruto can defeat Sasori alone. What are you talking? You can't fight him alone. You don't stand a chance, you baka, yelled Sakura. But she soon backed away, seeing his glare. Hardened Sakura, I won't tell you twice, don't get involved. I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, Haruno dash, demanded Naruto as he let out killer intent. Before Sakura can call his bluff, Chio outs her hand on the young medic mean girl. He's right, this is a fight between Naruto and Sasori, and knowing my grandson, if you get involved Sasori will kill, warned Chio. Sakura lets out a huff. Such an annoying brat. Now, let the final test begin, Naruto, said Sasori. Naruto nods his head. Naruto nods his head. Right, Masuda. Sasori, it's time to show you how far I've become and to test my new style, said Naruto in a cold tone. He then gazing into his master's eyes. Sasori gazes at the puppet tiger. So you've finally created it, huh? asked Sasori in an emotionless tone. Naruto allows a small smirk to appear on his face. Yes, Masuda, I've created an animal puppet, said Naruto. Both Sakura and Lady Chio stood in shock. Neither didn't know what an animal puppet is, but both knew this puppet wasn't some regular puppet. Lady Chio then narrowed her eyes in suspension as she gazes at the tiger puppet. The gazes at Naruto, who has a solemn expression. Damn it, what's so special about that puppet? It just looks like a regular puppet. But wait a minute, does that mean he created a puppet from the body of a live animal? But why they aren't any special? Thought Lady Chio with frustrated expression. Sakura looks to Lady Chio, then to Naruto. Wait, I don't get it. What is an animal puppet, and why is it so special? asked Sakura. Chio just glares at the two puppet masters. Sasori, Naruto-san is really your student, isn't he? asked Lady Chiyo. Sasori turns toward his grandmother. So you finally found out, Chiyoba. Well, I shouldn't accept any less from you, said Sasori in a emotionless tone. Naruto looks towards Chiyo. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised either. After all, you are a great puppet master, said Naruto. Sakura turns Chiyo. Lady Chiyo, what's so special about that puppet? Asked Sakura, looking at the aged Kunoichi. Lady Chiyo then sighs loudly. Sakura, that puppet isn't normal. You see, child, there are two types of puppets, a regular puppet and a human puppet. A human puppet is forbidden due to the fact that you have to kill a person and turn them into a puppet. This is looked down on, said Lady Chiyo, shocking Sakura. The pink net looks on in shock. She couldn't believe someone could be so cruel to perform such a horrendous act. Lady Chiyo narrows her eyes at the blonde shinobi, and it had seemed like your young friend's puppet was once an actual real white tiger. But what I don't understand is why, though I can't see why Naruto would turn a plain old tiger into a puppet, said a frustrated Lady Chiyo, biting on her thumb. Naruto coldly looks at the aged Kunoichi. That's because Saba wasn't a normal tiger, said Naruto. He then turns towards Sakura. Haruno, do you remember the pills the Inuzuka feed their dogs? Asked Naruto, looking coldly at Sakura. Sakura shivers at Naruto's could gaze. The Inuzukas give their dogs a special that allows them to grow from a type of intelligence, and that allows them to perform feats that most animals can't perform except for summoning animals, said Sakura in a lecture tone. Naruto nods his head. You're correct, Haruno. After studying the pills, I was able to create pill that increases the strength of the animal, increases their intelligence, it had increased their own chakra coils, and in some cases the animal gained an element affinity. Saba, for instance, had gained fire release, Katon, and lightning release, Riton, said Naruto with a small smirk. Sakura then glares at Naruto. Yubaka, how could you? How could you just kill an animal, then turn into some sick and twisted toy for your own cruel amusement? You're no better than Orochimaru and his experiments, yelled Sakura. But right, Shia said that her and Master Puppeteer felt a powerful killer intent that brought Sakura to her knees and had Lady Chiyo buckle her knees. They both look and see Naruto and Sasori glaring at the pink net. Don't ever compare me to Orochimaru. Besides, when I said the pill increased their intelligence, it increased it so much that they were even able to understand human common sense. Which also means they had gained the IQ of a grown adult. Besides, they knew what was going to happen, and they agreed, said Naruto with a solemn tone. He then turns his head facing Sasori. Now enough of this talk, it's time we begin, said Sasori. He then opens his mouth, shooting a fury of deadly Senbon at both Naruto and his Saba puppet. Naruto doesn't show any expression, he just slightly moved his finger, and Saba opens mouth and fires its own Senbon. Each Senbon hit each either puppet user halt. Naruto then slides left with Saba following him. Saba opens its mouth, a purple fog then escapes from its mouth. Sasori jumps back, gazes at the purple fog. Sasori narrows his eyes. He then looks down as the dirt turns purple and some of the plants that are growing turn black. I see your poison has improved, Naruto-kun, stated Sasori. Naruto just nods his hand. He then waves his finger, causing Saba to crouch down in a pounce-like stance. The puppy opens its mouth. Fire release. Locus of yellow flower, Katon, Yarofurawa no Kiseki, said Naruto. The puppet then fire 10 mini-sized fireballs. The fireballs then glow. Sasori widened his eyes as a huge explosion of fire covering Sasori. Sakura then smiles widely. Cha. Way to go, Naruto, yelled Sakura. It had seemed she had either forgiven or forgotten about Naruto turning his pet Saba into a puppet. Lady Chiyo glares at the cloud. Sakura, it's too soon to celebrate. There's no way that Sasori is dead after that, said Lady Chiyo as the cloud dispersed. Sasori is still standing. The only thing has changed about Sasori, his cloak has been destroyed. Sasori raises his arm and fires a fury of poison Senbon. Naruto then commands Saba to charge at Sasori. Naruto smirks. Orange secret technique. Tiger's iron wheel, Orangihiji, Tora no Kanawa, said Naruto. Saba then spins even faster, looking like a rapid fast-rotating sphere. Saba's metal fuinjutsu glows, making the puppet hard as steel. Saba deflects every single Senbon, shocking both Sakura and Chiyo, while Sasori just has an unfazed expression, just as everyone believes Naruto's Saba will shatter Sasori's Hiriko. Sasori blocks the attack with Hiriko's scorpion-like tail. Naruto just smirks at this as Saba's swift release fuinjutsu glows. Swift release. Star pentagram formation, Jinten, Sudapentagiramu no Kisi, said Naruto in a yellow dash. Saba disappear and reappear right next to Sasori with its claw raised. Inside Hiriko, Sasori narrows his eyes. It seems like Naruto-kun isn't holding back good. Sand clone jutsu, Suna bunship no jutsu, thought Sasori just before Saba can destroy Hiriko. The armored puppet turns into sand, avoiding the deadly blow. Naruto then brings Saba back to his side. The blonde then allows a half smirk to appear on his face. Alright Masuda, let's try this. Swift release. Quick attack, Jinten, Sub-Ii Kogiki, said Naruto as he moves his fingers around. Just like before, Saba vanishes in a yellow dash streak. Saba goes for a frontal attack, but Sasori blocks the attack. Saba speeds away and goes for Sasori right side, but this time Sasori blocks the attack with his left hand. Naruto-kun, you have improved, but the test is far from over, said Sasori as he fired the Senbon launcher point blank at Saba. Naruto nods his head. You're right, this is only the beginning. said Naruto. He then commands Saba somersaulted away from the Senbon. As this was going on, both Lady Chiyo and Sakura stood in shock. Lady Chiyo was in shock because there was another powerful puppet user who no less was a Konoha shinobi, something she thought she would never see. And Sakura was shocked at the fact this Naruto in front of her was completely different from the Naruto she was used to. Not just that, but it seems like this Naruto is stronger than everyone thought he was. She remembered when he came back the two were on equal levels, but in reality he was holding back, not showing his true skills. Lady Chiyo then narrows her eyes at Naruto. Shin remembers when he said Uzumaki sealing method, bonding of blood and water, Uzumaki Sharingan Hoho, Chi Tamizu no Kizuna. Lady Chiyo then remembers Naruto's last name is Uzumaki. A living Uzumaki now, that's quite rare. The last time I saw an Uzumaki had to be during the Second Shinobi War, but who would have thought an Uzumaki would have combined Fuin Jutsu and Kagutsu no Jutsu, puppet technique. The Uzumakis are truly something to be feared even to this day, thought Lady Chiyo. Sakura then grips her hand tightly as she watches Naruto and Sasori. The Pinknet still remembers how Naruto used to act like a loudmouth idiot just a few hours ago, just before they caught up with Sasori and Deidara. She just didn't understand how Naruto could do a simple 180. Naruto, it seems like just when I think I finally catch up to you, you're already ahead of me, thought Sakura. Naruto then commands Saba to strike at Sasori, but Sasori just keeps deflecting each attacks. Saba then charges from a frontal attack. Sasori then punches Saba. Both claw and iron fist meet. Sasori then stares at the tiger puppet. He opens his mouth ready to destroy Naruto's puppet, but right before he can fire the Senbon, Saba uses its right paw to slams against Sasori's face, causing Sasori to fly back and hit the floor. Sasori quickly gets up, raises his arm and opens his mouth. You may have been able to finally land a hit, but don't get cocky, said Sasori. Naruto doesn't say a word, he just raises his index finger, causing the tail to raise above its head. Acid release, laser spit bullet, Santen, Reza Supita Bureto, said Naruto as the seal for acid release, Santen, lights up. The tip of the tail glows bright neon green. A blast of an acid bullet shoots from the tail, melting Sasori's right hand, causing the missing Nin to lose his balance. Naruto takes advantage at this. He then activates the strength seal and swift release seal. Saba dashes for Sasori and completely destroys the Hiriko puppet. With clone Naruto and Kakashi, the clone Naruto and Kakashi run after Deidara as he flies away on his clay bird and the passed out Gaara. Kakashi looks towards the clone in suspicion. Naruto, why the sudden change, and why didn't you tell us you were trained by Sasori of the Red Sand? Asked Kakashi, trying to get information, but this Naruto has dropped his idiotic mask and won't be putting it on ever again. The clone turns his blue eyes towards Kakashi's soul black eye. He then turns his head back to the Akatsuki member. Kakashi, this is not the time nor place for your questions. Besides, the real me said whatever questions you have will be discussed once we return back to Konoha. Besides, Kakashi, we have to rescue Gaara, said the clone, ending the conversation. Kakashi sighs at this, but he knew the clone was right, since rescuing Gaara was more important than him being trained by his master/sensei. Kakashi lets out a sigh. Yeah, you're right, this isn't the time, but do you have any other ideas? I'm open for option, asked Kakashi, looking at the stoic-looking Naruto. The clone nods his head. He then claps his hands together. Get ready, Kakashi. Fire release, fire bird technique, Katan, Feiabado no Jutsu, yelled Naruto. He then shoots a flaming bird from his mouth, but the blonde doesn't stop there. He raises his hand. Now it's time to finally stop chasing this blonde idiot. Wind release, Spyro air stick, Photon, Sapiro Yasudaku, exclaimed Naruto. He then fires blue twirling air blast at his fire jutsu, causing the fire jutsu to grow in size. The jutsu hits the clay bird directly, blowing both Deidara and Gaara off the bird. The clone doesn't stop for a moment. He extends his hand and catches Gaara with his chakra threads. The clone smirks at this. Got you, buddy, said Naruto. Kakashi smiles at this. Way to go, Naruto, praised Kakashi. Naruto turns towards Kakashi. Thanks, Kakashi, but we still have to deal with Deidara, said Naruto. He quickly makes a shadow clone to watch over Gaara. He looks at Deidara, whose face has been burned, his cloak tattered, he lost his right arm, and 3 of his fingers on his left hand. Deidara glares darkly at Naruto in disgust. Damn you, Nine Tails Jinchuriki, growled Deidara. Naruto doesn't say anything. He pulls out a tri-pronged kunai, shocking Kakashi, but Deidara just glares at him, blinded by his own hate to even recognize the strange kunai. Naruto throws the kunai at Deidara, whose eyes are wide open, but before the blade can kill Deidara, a bright yellow flash blinds him. While he's temporarily blinded, Naruto delivers a strong right hook to the IWA missing Nin. With the kunai in his hand, he slashes Deidara's back, causing the burnt man to scream in pain. Deidara growls in anger. He then gets ready to throw a clay centipede at the blonde Jinchuriki, but Naruto had already vanished. Deidara turns around, seeing Naruto far away from him. Damn you, Nine Tails, spat Deidara. Kakashi stood in shock. Tth, that was Sensei's jutsu, said a stunned Kakashi. The clone narrows his eyes. So the lazy bastard knew who my dad was. Wait till the original hears about this, thought Naruto. He then digs in his hand, bringing out a scroll that has the kanji read Spirit of Ogre. The blonde then pours chakra into the seal. A large cloud goes off, covering Naruto. Once the cloud vanishes, Naruto is holding a katana. The grip of the sword is maroon red, the guard is a silver square, And the maid itself has the kanji for whirlpool beyond the calm Red Sea. Kakashi, wait, that's Lady Kushina's katana, exclaimed Kakashi. Deidara just narrows his eyes at the blonde Jinchuriki. So, the Nine Tails has the sword from to be famed Crimson Death. Kurima's no sure, stated Deidara. He then grins. The clone just glares at the elder blonde. With Naruto versus Sasori. When Naruto destroyed the Hiriko puppet, something flew out. What flew out was Sasori. Sakura narrows her eyes and Lady Chio stood shocked. She just couldn't believe it. After years, Sasori still looks like a young man, which shouldn't be possible since Sasori had to be in his 30s. Sakura looks at the shocked and disturbed Lady Chio. Lady Chio, what's wrong? Asked a worried Sakura. Lady Chio just stood there gasping as she stares at her grandson. I don't believe it. Sasori hasn't aged one bit since he left Suna, exclaimed a still shocked Lady Chio. Sakura then gives her a what you mean look. The pinknet had a feeling for whatever reason why Lady Chio looks to shocked and confused. Must be something serious. Lady stares at Sasori. Sasori left the village when the Sandaime Kazekage had disappeared, said Lady Chio as she narrows her eyes. Sakura just stared at the red-haired man in shock. But how is that possible? He looks like he's around myself and Naruto's age. If what you're saying is true, then shouldn't he look like he's around 30? Asked Sakura as she stares at Chio. Lady Chio doesn't turn towards Sasori, she just keeps her eyes on the man. I'm not sure, Sakura, said Lady Chio. Sasori then smiles at his student. Well done, Naruto-kun, you've passed the first test. Now it's time for your second test, said Sasori. He pulls a scroll out. Once he pours chakra into a large smoke engulfs Sasori. Once the smoke clears, a puppet has been summoned, but not just any puppet. This puppet is a human puppet. Lady Chio stood shocked with a horrid expression. That's the Sandaime Kazekage, exclaimed Lady Chio. Sakura shoots Chio a curious gaze. The elder puppeteer then explained the Sandaime Kazekage went missing after Sasori left the village and became a missing nin. Naruto smirks at Sasori. So, you're bringing him out, the Sandaime Kazekage? Asked Naruto as he gazed at the human puppet of the former Kage. Sasori smirks at Naruto. Of course I'm using the Sandaime Kazekage, Naruto-kun, it is one of my favorite puppet. Now get ready, said Sasori with a small grin. Naruto nods his head. He then seals Saba away. He then puts away the scroll. Naruto then grabs a red scroll that has the kanji for life and death. Naruto smirks. He throws the scroll up the air. A loud cloud goes off. Once the cloud vanishes, a puppet stands proudly. The puppet has soulless green eyes. It has red shaggy hair that reaches past its shoulders. It also has a low ponytail. The puppet looks a standard puppet except for the fact that it has razor-sharp nails coated with poison. It wears a hooded maroon cloak. The inside of the cloak is black. It wears black fingerless gloves, brown pants, and maroon-colored shinobi sandals. Underneath the cloak it has a seal. On its left side of the chest it has the kanji for rust release. On its left shoulder it has the kanji for strength, and on its right shoulder it has the kanji for metal. Naruto gazes at his master with no visible emotion, while Sakura and Chio wonder, is this a human puppet too? Sasori just calmly gazes at Naruto. You've brought him. This is also your favorite puppet as well, isn't my student? Asked Sasori. Naruto nods to his sensei. Yes, you are correct, Masuda. Just like the Sandaime Kazekage is your favorite, Mokashiroku, Apocalypse, is my favorite. Let's see which wins, the human puppet or Fuinjutsu puppet, said Naruto. Sasori nods his head. Both command their puppets to open their mouth. Black sand release from the Kazekage while rust releases from Mokashiroku. With clone versus Deidara. The clone backflips away from one of Deidara's clay spiders. Katsu yelped Deidara, causing a large explosion. The clone gets sent back from the explosion. Deidara smirks at seeing Naruto was caught by the explosion. He may not have been killed, but at least he was damaged. Deidara grins at seeing the clone with some light scratches. I must say, Nine Tails, you're quite resilient. I mean, I accepted you to just poof away once I hit you since you're a Kage Bunshin. But I supposed I shouldn't be surprised. After all, you are an Uzumaki, said Deidara as he pants softy. Naruto just gazes at the elder blonde. So, you know of my fallen clan? Asked Naruto as he stares at IWA missing nin. Deidara grins at Naruto. Yeah, I know of the Uzumaki clan. I've only seen two, the first being you Nine Tails and the second one I faced a long time ago back when I was shinobi of IWA, but that Uzumaki used Fuinjutsu and Bojutsu. But even back then they are rare. I guess you can say the same thing about Senju before they died out, said Deidara. He then stares at his missing limb that's bleeding out. Deidara grits his teeth in frustration. He knew he had only two options. One, fight the nine-tailed Jinchuriki, which he would either die from blood lost or be killed by the Jinchuriki who's stronger than he and the other Akatsuki members had originally thought, and he has option 2 to make a run for it. Deidara mentally growls, I would attempt to fight, but I'm low on chakra after fighting the one-tailed Jinchuriki. My options are limited. Ugh, this really sucks, thought Deidara. Naruto charges at Deidara with his sword. Deidara attempts to dodge, but he staggers back. Naruto takes advantage and cuts him on his side. Deidara lets out a grunt. Naruto does a 180 turn and sends a straight kick to Deidara, causing Deidara to hit the hard ground. Deidara grunts. He digs in his clay pocket. Let's see how you might see too, thought Deidara. He then throws medium-sized clay beetles at Naruto. The blonde doesn't falter or stop his assault on the older blonde. Naruto then channels both wind and fire nature into his katana. With both element nature clashing together gives his sword an holy appearance like it came from the heavens itself. Naruto glares at the clay beetle's scorch release. Phoenix Moon Bridge, Shikuten, Fenikusamon Buriji! Yelled Naruto. He slashes his katana. A huge yellow flame is unleashed, burning everything in sight, and even turning the every sand under Naruto's feet into glass. Once the clay beetles and the scorch release jutsu meets, creates a huge explosion. Deidara jumps left, dodging the flames, but he gets injured. The backlash of the clay beetles and scorch release. Deidara's vision start to become blurry. He then spits out blood. The blonde man wipes away the blood from his mouth. He then screams in pain as Naruto's delivers a vicious knee to his face. Deidara flies back. He hits the ground. Naruto stands before him and delivers quick and fast punches to Deidara. Deidara growls in anger. He then clenches his fist and punches Naruto in the face. Naruto quickly grabs Deidara's arm and breaks it. The elder blonde howls in pain. The blonde then punches Deidara in the face again, breaking Deidara's nose. The elder blonde lets out a tiresome pant. The clone digs in his pocket. He then pulls out a scalpel which is coated in purple liquid. The clone smirks down at the tired blonde. Deidara look up at Naruto with his eyes half open. WHWH, what pant the hell pant is that? Groaned Deidara. Naruto twirls the scalpel around his fingers. Since you know I've been trained by Masuda Sasori, then you know he taught me everything he knows, correct Deidara? Asked Naruto. Deidara nods his head, which the clone continues to speak. As you know, Masuda Sasori is a master puppet user and quite excellent in poisons, which I was able to master both. Also, I'm immune to any and all poisons anyways. The scalpel is coated with poison, not poison that will kill you, just kill every single one of your nerves. So in other terms, when you die from blood loss, you won't even feel it, said Naruto in a tone void of any emotions. Naruto then grabs right arm. He then cuts Deidara, and within seconds the pain of being burnt, bleeding out, and his arm broken has vanished. Deidara then turns towards Naruto and watches the blonde put away the scalpel. And now Deidara, you're going to tell me what I want, said Naruto. Deidara then glares at Naruto. And why the hell should I? Growled Deidara. Naruto just glares at Deidara. Because if you don't, I will place the Juinjutsu on you that causes unimaginable pain every time you even use chakra. Just imagine what it will feel like. Magos eating away your flesh, said Naruto. Deidara then lets out a sigh. Ugh, fine, you win 9 tails, so what do you want to know? Asked Deidara in a defeated tone. Why are you and the Akatsuki members hunting Jinchuriki? There has to be a reason, demanded Naruto with his eyes glaring at Deidara. Deidara smirks already asking one of the most important question. Alright, our leader says it's to achieve world peace, but I don't care about crap like that. I just want to show off my art, said Deidara. Naruto just continues to glare at Deidara. Who's the leader of the Akatsuki? Asked Naruto. He knew this information was extremely important, and maybe with this information they'll actually know who they are actually dealing with. Deidara lets out a sigh. Now that's something I can't tell you, stated Deidara. Both Konoha shinobi raised their eyebrows. And why is that? Asked Naruto. Deidara then allows a half grin to appear on his face. Because I never actually met him. Well, yes, he's my leader, and I've met some of the other Akatsuki members. I haven't really seen all their faces, but we have a hologram jutsu. The only thing I can honestly tell you about our leader is he has purple eyes with ripples within in them, said Deidara. The blonde man then slowly closes his eyes to never wake up again. Naruto then has a smirk on his face. You may have been quite troublesome working for the Akatsuki, but now you'll be useful to me when you join my collection, said a smirking Naruto. He then looks at the dead body of Deidara. His body isn't damaged. First second-degree burn, the fingertips have been blown off, and along with his arm. Other than that, I can still add you to my collection, said the clone. He then picks up his katana, seals it away. He then looks back at the direction him and Kakashi came from. The clone then begins wondering how the original is doing. Kakashi covers his Sharingan eye and stares at the clone with a suspicious stare. You said join your collection? What do you mean by that? Asked Kakashi as he narrowed his eye. The clone seals the dead Deidara in a scroll. He then dispels his clone that he made and picks up Gaara. The Kage Bunshin turned towards Kakashi. I thought the real me told you he'll answer your questions when the mission is finished, and the mission is still not finished, Hataki. The real me is more likely still fighting Shisho. Besides, I see no reason why I or the original should even listen to you in the first place, said clone Naruto in an emotionless tone. Kakashi glares down at the Kage Bunshin. What do you mean by that? I'm your sensei, Naruto. You have to listen to me. I'm the Jounin, and you're the Genin. I'm your superior, Naruto, and I outrank you, so start showing me some respect, ordered Kakashi in a tone that was clear of authority. The Kage Bunshin just stares at Kakashi with a cold expression with no visible emotions on his face. Is that what you think, Hataki? Asked the clone. Kakashi nods his head. You may be a higher rank than me, but that does not mean you are on my level, and what I'm saying is not arrogant. I mean, I was trained by Shisho and Jiraiya, both who are power shinobi way more powerful than you. Not only that, but I've created poisons and Fuinjutsu that both Shisho and Jiraiya would be proud. Also, why should I respect someone who not only abandoned his students but favored the traitor? And let's not forget, you know who my parents are. You are such a hypocrite, Hataki, said Naruto. He then begins to walk back. Kakashi follows Naruto with an enraged expression. You say those who abandon the rules are scum, but those who abandon their friends worse than scum. Yet you abandoned Haruno and myself for a person who has a superior complex. I also thought the whole saying was idiotic and just naive, said Naruto emotionless. My friend Obito said that, Naruto, snarled Kakashi, glaring at the back of Naruto. The blonde just hums to himself. Really? Where is he now? Asked Naruto. Dead, he's dead. Said Kakashi. The white net then begins to have flashbacks of Obito's crushed body. TSK. Figures he seems like an idiot who does early, but I wonder how my father will feel about his student favoring a spoiled brat who craves for his daddy's attention. How pathetic. My dad would be disgusted with you, Hataki. Said Naruto. Kakashi runs at Naruto with a kunai. Naruto throws Gaara in the air. He then creates a chakra string out of his finger, stopping Gaara from hitting the ground. Naruto then unsheathed his sword. The blade clashes with Kakashi's kunai. Student of Yellow Flash and student of Red Sand glared daggers at each other. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know Minato-sensei like I do, snarled Kakashi. Naruto then gains a look of pure anger. You're right, I don't know my father. After all, both my parents were taken away from me the day I was born, Hataki, said Naruto, causing Kakashi to feel ashamed of his behavior. The two pull away. He then continues to travel back. But Hataki, I don't respect you at all. To me, you're not my sensei. In fact, I despised you, said Naruto in a cold tone. The sooner the mission is over, the better. Then everyone can see who I am. Naruto Uzumaki, puppet master of Konohagakure. No more facades, no more fake smile, no more pretending, and no more pretending that I like everyone. And I don't have to wear any more orange. I really hate orange, thought Naruto in relief. QB, how is Gaara? I can't sense Gaara's chakra, asked Naruto. He's fine, Uzumaki. The only bad thing about his condition is that he's dealing with chakra exhaustion. If you had not dropped that facade as you did, your fellow Jinchuriki would be dead, said QB. That's good, at least he's alive. I swear I'll make these bastards pay for hunting us Jinchuriki like cattle, thought Naruto in rage. QB nods his head. And thanks to your puppet sensei, we are aware of what they plan to do with the other Bijou, and we also know every member of the Akatsuki thanks to Sasori, commented QB. The clone couldn't help to agree with his Bijou. The blonde is really thankful for Sasori taking him, and Naruto always knew if it wasn't for Sasori he would either be dead or just be living like an idiot, or he would just be alive with no real purpose. But it was because of Sasori that he now has a purpose, and that he's not some loud moan idiot. The Kage Bunshin then smiles to him. Not only that, but we know who the leader of the Akatsuki is, thanks to Shisho, thought the clone with pleased tone. From within the seal, QB narrows his eyes, not in disgust or anger but in suspicion. The Rinnegan, the most powerful Jujutsu that surpasses that insufferable Sharingan. But the only person that had obtained it was the Sage of the Six Paths, who battled a creature even more powerful than me. This creature was the Ten-Tails, Jubi. My other Bijou were split from Jubi by the Sage, said QB. The clone narrows not in suspicion but in wonder. After all, the QB has never really spoke him. Sure, the Bijou would give him his own little comments, but he would mostly questions why he chose to focus on puppet technique, Kugetsukai. Then ninjutsu. Sure, he used his clones to help him with ninjutsu and kenjutsu, but he mostly focused his ninja art on Kugetsukai. Sure, the blonde has mastered wind release, futon, and fire release, katon, and had created scorch release, shikuten, though the young puppeteer knows his scorch release, shikuten, needs more work, but he mainly focused on his fuinjutsu and Kugetsukai. Why are you telling me this? I thought you hate me, asked the clone in a suspicious tone. QB lets out a dark chuckle, making the clone wondered what's so funny, but laughing seems to be of amusement, as if the fox Bijou finds something entertaining. I do hate you, boy. I hate every one of you damn humans, but I hate being controlled more than my hatred for you or my past jailers. You are still the weak little child searching through the dumpsters, but even to someone as powerful as myself, I know these shinobi are dangerous, especially Sasuke's older brother and his fish partner, states QB in his usual dark insult of a tone. This might have someone deflated at hearing someone hates you in such a casual tone, as if they are talking about the weather, but not Naruto. He just had a stoic expression on his face. And why should he be offended? After all, the people of Konohagakure had made it their personal job to remind Naruto how much they hate him. Naruto couldn't remember a time where the villagers hadn't hurt him emotionally and physically. They would often call him demon spawn, murder, demon child, Kage killer, fox brat, child menace, and sometimes monster of Konoha. If the constant insults weren't bad enough during his many beatings, they would remind him of how no one cares about him, how he should just die. He will never amount to anything, die like his whore of a mother, and mostly kill the monster and avenge the yondaime. During these times he would often hear a voice in his head telling him to give up, let go, and you're pathetic. But this wasn't the first time he heard this voice. No, he would often hear the voice telling him to end it, to die. Nobody cares about you, and you're weak just like that yellow one. At times the abuse would be too much for him, and he would honestly think about ending it and stopping the pain he's forced to endure, but before he can go through it he stops himself, not sure why. Was it because the Umbu would watch him, or how Hiruzen, Tuchi, Ayam, or Iruka would feel if they found him to be not of living anymore? But no, it wasn't that. It was the dark voice in his head. He at once thought it was the villagers or shinobi torturing him even more, but no, years later under Sasori he had found out the dark voice constantly telling him to commit suicide and then telling him not to was Kyubi no Kitsune, the creature that had made its job to make him suffer mentally and physically. He can sometimes hear the Bijou dark laugh after he's being beaten with an inch of his life. Naruto narrows his eyes. He could almost see Kyubi grinning at him. So, what does this? Means we're partners or something, because I know we aren't friends. After all, we both hate each other, stated Naruto. Ah ha ha ha, don't be foolish, child. You are nothing but an insect to me. The concept of being partners with such a weak being is anything but laughable. You want to know what we are? We are jailer and prison. You need me and I have use of you, boy. Do not think too much into it, boy. Roared Kyubi, closing the connection between Kyubi and Naruto. Naruto has a stoic expression, but if you look closer you could see hatred. Kakashi shots Naruto a curious gaze as he sees the hatred in his student's eyes, but as soon as it appeared it vanished as if there was no hint of anger. You're wrong, Kyubi. The only thing I need from you is your knowledge and nothing else. I could care less about the power you possess, but you need me because the Akatsuki can rip out a bijou. Thought the clone. He then glances at Gaara, who's on his back. Don't worry, Gaara will make them pay. Thought Naruto. With Naruto, Chio and Sakura stand in shock as they watch a wall of iron sand clash with a wall of rust. Both master and student have a blank expression as they control the two elements. I can't believe this. This is just unreal. I've never seen anything like this before, exclaimed Sakura in shock. Chio could only watch in awe as master and student battle each with everything. She then turned towards Sakura with a small smile. That's because this is a battle of student and master. Sakura, I doubt you've ever seen a fight like this, said Chio. She then turns back to Naruto and Sasori. Sakura almost looked offended at how Chio said that. It was almost like she couldn't understand Naruto. Lady Chio, what do you mean? A fight? I've never seen Naruto, and I fought against Kakashi when he came back to the village. Not only that, but I've fought against my teacher Tsunade, said Sakura, glaring her green eyes at the aged Kunoichi. Chio allows a smile to adorn her wrinkled covered face. Is that so, Sakura? When you and Naruto fought against Kakashi, was Naruto hiding behind the idiotic facade, or was he fighting as he was now? And you going up against Tsunade, was she holding back on you? Asked Chio. Sakura found herself quiet, not able to say anything. Sakura gains a downcast expression. Chio turns towards the pink net medic, not even minding the conflicted Sakura, who's still confused about Naruto's change in personnel. No matter how smart of a kunoichi she is, the student of Tsunade just couldn't fathom why the sudden change. You seem lost, Sakura? Asked Chio, but the two kunoichi knew it was more of a statement. I just don't understand. Before this mission he was bright, idiotic, knucklehead, who can be loud and annoying at times, but now it's like he's a totally different person. This Naruto is calm, cold, cool, collected, always in control. I just don't understand how can someone I've known since I was a kid change so much, said Sakura as she watches the blonde and redhead attack each other with an unreadable stoic expression. The aged puppet master turns to master and student. I'm not surprised you are confused. It seems like Naruto had this idiot facade the whole time in Konoha, but only Sasori to see the real him, said Chio as she watches Sasori creates an iron sphere while Naruto creates a spiker sphere out of his rust release. Seton. A confused yet lost Sakura stares at Chio. What do you mean, Lady Chio? Asked Sakura. Chio either chose to focus on the battle in front of her or she just didn't bother to pay the Chunin any mind. You Konoha ninjas value loyalty and trust, don't you? Asked Chio with flat tone. The female member of Team 7 can only nod her head in agreement, causing the elder woman to release a sigh from her lips. Thought so. It seems like your friend not only trusts my grandson Sasori but is completely loyal to the point where he would create a facade to fool everyone in your village, stated Chio. Sasori stares at Naruto with a stoic expression, not even allowing a hint of emotion to appear on his young face. You have improved, Naruto. Now it's time to see if you're ready, my student. Multiple iron needles, Fukusu no Tetsuhari, said Sasori. Iron sand begins to take the form of a dozen of pointy shards. Naruto couldn't agree more with his true sensei. No, that isn't right, his true master. I agree, Shisho. It's time to see how far I've come. Rust release, field of playground, Seton, Purigundo no Furuto. Whisper Naruto grains. If red rust begins to rise up, taking form of a round rust sphere the size of the sphere rivals that of the Rasengan. Both Sasori and Naruto has a stoic tone expression onto their faces, either backing done. It's time to see if you have surpassed me, Naruto, said Sasori. Yes, of course, Shisho. But it's too soon to even decide who the winner will be, said Naruto. I couldn't agree more with you, Naruto, but I won't go easy on you, half-joked Sasori. Good, neither will I, Shisho, said Naruto with an emotionless expression on his face. The two stay at each one, waiting for the other to strike, for the only sound that can be heard is the sound of the gentle wind being blown by the air. Not only are Naruto and Sasori are staring at each other with an intense stare that can cut through the very air. As the pebbles hit the ground hard, the iron needles are flung at the blonde, but he doesn't falter. He commands the rust spheres to charge at Sasori. As the iron needles come in contact with the iron, it starts to delay, causing Sasori to narrow his eyes as he sees the rust delay the rocks. So his rust release, Seton, can not only rust objects, but can even decay them. I must be careful, if I'm not, then it would be the end of me. Iron sand drizzle, Satetsu Shiger, thought Sasori. The iron needles then became bullet-size iron. Naruto twitches his right ring finger. The rust spheres come together, form a wall. Rust release, rusting wall, Seton, Sabra Cabe, said Naruto. Sasori with a blank expression just stares at the wall of rust iron sand gathering assault, Satetsu Keshu, said Sasori. The iron formed together, creating a triangle made iron. Sasori then commands his puppet to hurl the giant shape at Naruto. Sakura eyes widen as the shape of death is hurled at her teammate. Watch out, Naruto, roared Sakura, but to her shock Naruto is standing with an emotionless face. But what really shocked her is his puppet Mokashiroku, Apocalypse, is holding the giant iron sand triangle. If her eyes could open more, the Chunin's eyes would have fallen out of her eye sockets as she watches the giant triangle reduce nothing into rusted metal. As master and student stare at each other with intense gleam in their eyes, it seems like their puppets can be seen glaring at each other, which seems impossible since they aren't alive. Rust release, rust touch, Seton, Sabanai Tachi, whispered Naruto. Sasori hums to himself as if he's not surprised what the Mokashiroka puppet had just done. The Mokashiroka puppet charges at Sasori with its left hook, but before the fist of certain death can come in contact with the face of the missing Sunigakure ninja, a square wall of iron sand appears in front of Sasori, protecting him. He'll have to do better than that. Joke Sasori, I already have Shisho, said Naruto, catching Sasori off guard. Suddenly the square wall of iron sand is sliced in pieces by rust wires. Rust release, rusting viper of creation, Seton, Sabite Iru Sozo no Baipa, said Naruto. The rusted iron then takes form of multiple snakes. The rust serpents roar at Sasori. They each charged at him, causing his eyes to shoot up in shock. He quickly gathered the iron to create an iron shield around him. As each rust creature hits the iron shield, the hardened iron shield, but piece by piece the hardened iron slowly cakes away. Damn it, this isn't good. Naruto's rust not only has a powerful defense but a powerful offense. I'm sorry Naruto, but this fight isn't even older. You still have one more final test, my student, thought Sasori. Naruto then bends the rust to his will, reforming it into spikes. He then calms the spikes down. He watches as the iron shield collapses to the ground. Naruto then darts his eyes around. Where is he? Thought Naruto, but his eyes are wide open as he feels blades going into his back. He turns his head, seeing the yellow orbs of the Sandaime Kazekage staring into his blue soulless eyes, but then Naruto allows a half grin to appear on his young face. It's time for Sasori to stare in shock as Naruto turns into rust. The redhead quickly removes the blade from the rust clone, Sabina Bunshin. But just as the Sandaime Kazekage removes its heart from the clone, but its head and blades completely decay away. Impressive, the rust can even decay my very poison. Thousand Hands Manipulation Force, Senjusobu, thought Sasori. The Sandaime arc then explodes in volley of wooden hands. Each of the hands then becomes undone and releases poison gas. The iron sand begins to rise up in the air, creating a poisonous fog of iron. Sasori then allows a smile to adorn his face. How do you like my iron sand toxic atmosphere, Satetsu Yodoka Funiki? Asked Sasori. Naruto can be seen standing next to Hiriko's shield. It's impressive, but I don't think that'll work on me, Shisho, said Naruto as his body is covered in rust. The Mokashiroka's steel Fuinjutsu lights the puppet punches the very ground, causing rocks to be ripped apart from the ground, trapping and destroying the many arms. The Mokashiroka flies at the Sandaime. The Fuinjutsu puppet punches the human puppet in chest, sending it back. Sasori tries to move his favorite puppet, but he soon finds he's unable to command the Sandaime Kazekage puppet. Sasori stares at Naruto. What did you do? Asked Sasori in a curious tone. Naruto allows a small grin to appear on his face. He turns towards Sandaime Kazekage, who seems incapable of the most simplest things. He then turns his eyes at Sasori. Shisho, the last blow Sandaime Kazekage had delivered wasn't just a powerful punch that nearly shattered your puppet, but it was Mokashiroku who had caused the finishing move. But you see, before Mokashiroku had delivered the blow, I infused his hand with small amounts of rust that can destroy the workings of the puppet. So, how did I do for test 2? Asked Naruto in a curious tone. Sasori smiles at Naruto. He then throws the smile away and disconnects the chakra strings to his puppet. You've pasted the second test, and now it's time to see how you do with the third test, said Sasori. He then removes his cloak, revealing he's a human puppet himself. Sasori's puppet body consisted of a pair of spinning claws attached to his lower back, a holder for 4 scrolls on his back, a stinger in the empty and open stomach cavity, a compartment in his right chest, and a core of living flesh, Namami no Kaku, in the left, which had the kanji for scorpion painted on it. In his exposed state, Sasori's eyes also would be wide open in a maniacal way, as opposed to his normal calm-looking eyes. He then removes the scroll from his back. I've seen how you handled yourself against Hiriko and the Sandaime Kazekage. Now it's time for the final test. Red secret technique, performance of 100 puppets, Akahiji, Hayaki no Son, said Sasori as he unsealed hundreds of puppets. While Sakura and Chio looked shocked at discovery, Sasori is a living puppet. Naruto just stared at his master with cold, stoic eyes. Naruto reaches behind his back and grabs the medium-sized grass-green scroll that has the kanji cold-blooded. He then reseals Mokashiroka back into its respected scroll. It seems like I must them. Shisho, I'd rather use the other ones, but they are still incomplete, so these will be your opponent, Shisho. Orange secret technique, beings of the superior, Orangehiji, Superior no Sanzai, said Naruto. A large cloud explodes in existence. As the cloud vanished, Naruto can be seen standing behind 8 animal puppets and 2 Fuinjutsu puppets, but these puppets each have a seal on their head that has the kanji for sentinel. The 10 animal puppets are a turtle, Komodo dragon, iguana, salamander, chameleon, crocodile, snake, alligator, dragon, and tuatara. The turtle puppet is called Shuttle, Shaduru. Just like Naruto's Saba's animal puppet, it has the appearance of a giant turtle. It has an iron-like shield on top of the shell is a seal. This seal has the kanji for iron. It has a Senbon launcher in its mouth that fires a powerful volley of poison Senbon. Its claws are laced with venomous poison that eats away the human nerve. On its stomach it has the kanji storm release, Rantun. Underneath its head is the kanji for plasma, Keshitin. This puppet is mud green and colored with red eyes, and it has a dark yellow beak. The Komodo dragon is purple in color with teal-colored soulless orbs. This puppet is called Delta Duryuta. Its teeth are laced with poison. Not only that, but the puppet can fire a strong poisonous gas that eats away your chakra. Its claws are also laced with poison. Its tail has a modification that allows it to release bladed wires. The bladed wires also fires darts. On its spine it has the kanji for lava release, Yotan, and on its stomach it has the kanji for Shunshin and power. The iguana puppet is called Harbinger, Maybure. Maybure has green-yellowed colored skin, it has red eyes. The puppet has a modification that fires chakra threads that absorbs chakra. Its claws and tail are laced with poison. Another ability the puppet has is built-in poison scalpels that can fire rapid poison objects at the person. On its tail it has the kanji ash release, Haitun, and on its chest has the kanji of the paralysis seal, Mahi Fuin. Also on its claw there's the kanji speed, Sakudo. The salamander is named Beyond the Grave, Heikakoit. The salamander is blue-brown skin color, its eyes are gray in color. It has blades that can cut through steel, but this mostly because the claws are made from chakra metal. The tail is a wide wire. The tip of the wire has a chakra blade spear that has been laced with poison that disrupt a person's chakra. On the chest it has the kanji for iron and poison. Heikakoit has water release, Suetun. The chameleon is named Wrath, Ikari. Ikari is around 8.5 in and 235 cm, 7 feet. The skin of the animal puppet is a mixture between sky blue and lime green. The eyes of Ikari are bronze in color. It has a stinger as Q-tongue. It also has a modification that allows it to release flames. The claws of the puppet are made out of chakra metal. The Ikari puppet has an ability that allows it to turn invisible. On its left side has the kanji laser release, Reza, and on the right side has the kanji for steel release, Kotan. The crocodile puppet is named Hungry Beast, Yuta Kimona. It has yellow eyes. The large puppet has a wind release, Grand Hurricane Roar Sealing Technique, Futan, Garando Hurricane Roar Fuinjutsu. It also has a flamethrower launcher in its mouth. On its back it has a set of modification that releases a toxin that affects the user's sight. The tail is a massive stinger that has a spiked dagger attached to it. Not only that, but dagger is inchoate with the poison of a black widow, Dubois sea snake, giant leaf frog, and box jellyfish. On the spine of the puppet it has the seal for Uzumaki sealing method, demon absorption of the 5 gates, Uzumaki Hoin, Itsutsu no Geto no Meiho no Kyushu. The skin of the puppet is dark green. The eyes of the puppet are yellow. The snake puppet is named Devourer, Danyoku. The puppet has green-colored eyes and it is a burnt red in color. Like most of Naruto's puppet, this puppet has a Senbon launcher located in its mouth. The put also has another modification in his mouth that can fire blinding poison liquid. On the put is the kanji strength, iron, and heaven's division, Ten no Bunretsu. The alligator puppet is named Striking Guard, Dijiki Gado. This puppet is quite unique due to the fact this puppet has a modification that releases a mist that contains liquid nitrogen that freezes the person's nerves. The claws of the puppet are laced with poison. On the spine of the puppet is the seal of Malicious Seal, Avatar of Hell, in Shitsufuin, Toni no Gongen, Chain Generation Technique, Kusari Saisei no Jutsu, and Heat Sealing Method, Haido Shiroh. The dragon puppet is a Fuinjutsu puppet. This puppet is called Red Dragon, Akairia. The red dragon puppet has the appearance of a Chinese dragon. The puppet is a combination of red, green, and gold. On the claw of the puppet it has a fire release, Katan kanji. On the shoulder is a kanji for iron. On the tail it has the boiling release, Futton. On the right claw is the Nova release kanji, Shinsaiten. Red Dragon has a launcher in its mouth that fires Senbon, darts, and scalpels. The Tuatara Fuinjutsu puppet is named Peace Bridge, Hiwabashi. This puppet is painted pale green. This puppet can fire chakra needles from the mouth. It has anything modification that fires poison gas. The claws are made out of chakra blades that are laced with king cobra venom. The tail is laced with poison that Naruto made. This poison attacks the 5 senses of the human. On the spine is a kanji for iron. On the chest on the heart is the kanji for forest release, Shintan, and on his left arm is the kanji is lunar release, Tainton. Sakura and Chio narrows her eyes at the animal puppets. Naruto, how could you do this to these animals? I don't understand how you could not only turn the animals into puppets, but also kill each one of them. Just how much are you hiding from us? Thought Sakura with a saddened expression. Chio narrows her eyes at the puppets. Naruto truly is just like my grandson, states Chio. Sakura raised an eyebrow at Chio. How so? Asked Sakura in confusion. Sakura, you seemed like a smart girl. Think about it, Naruto and Sasori are both cold, calculated, smart, and emotionless. They both would use anyone as their puppet as long as they find use for that person. Sasori had turned the Sandame into a puppet because he saw how powerful the Sandame Kazekage is. And Naruto had did the same with various of the animals because they proved useful to him. Both are puppet masters, but both have their own way of using Kugetsutsukai in their own way. Sakura looked at Chio with an enraged expression. But you're saying Naruto is a monster? Accused Sakura. Chio narrows her eyes at Sakura. Sakura, you heard what Naruto said when this fight started, right? Asked Chio. Sakura regrettably nods her head, remembering Naruto had sent a large amount of killer intent. While he didn't say anything, it was clear as day. That was an opening threat. If you say anything, I'll kill you where you stand. Naruto smiles at Sasori. This is my art, Shisho. I believe we've waited long enough, said Naruto. Sasori yes at his student with a passive expression. Yes, we have, Naruto. Time for talk is over. It's time for your final test to begin, said Sasori. He then commands 30 puppets who are armed with poisonous laced weapons. Naruto gives no reaction. With a twitch of 2 fingers, both Dejiki Gado and Hiwabashi fly towards the puppets. Hiwabashi mouth opens and fires a volley of chakra needles that destroy 10 puppets. The puppets fire Senbon at the 2 puppets, but Naruto activates the chain generation technique, Kusari Saisei no Jutsu. Chains appear out of Dejiki Gado. The chains pierce through 5 of the puppets. Fire release. Ring of Ablaze, Katan, Aburaza no Ringu. The chains are covered in bright orange flames. The flames then release a bright chakra threads that cuts through 4 of the puppets' heads. The 9 puppets then caught in flame. Sasori doesn't even blink. He commands 2 puppets to punch Dejiki Gado, sending the animal puppet back, cracking the crown of the puppet. Earth release, Mud Shotgun, Doton, Doro Shotogen, said Naruto. The Dejiki Gado puppet slams its claw on the ground. 3 mud balls fire at 3 puppets. The first puppet arm was blown off. Another mud ball hits a puppet in the chest, cracking the chest of the puppet, and the third one had its head blown off. Sasori allows his smirk to widen. The 2 puppets' hands open up, revealing a flamethrower. The flamethrower ignites, blowing a torrent of flame at Dejiki Gado. Sorry, Naruto, but it seems like you're down 1 puppet, said Sasori. He then deactivates the flamethrowers, but the puppet master eyes shot open in shock as he sees the crocodile puppet stand. He then narrows his eyes. But how? It should be nothing but ash? Asked Sasori. Naruto gains a dark look. Simple Shisho, with the malicious seal, Avatar of Hell, and Shitsufuin, Toni no Gongen. Dejiki Gado is immune to all types of fire-based attacks. That includes fire release, Katan, lava release, Yotan, scorch release, Shikutan, and ash release, Haitan. Not only that, but my puppet is immune to all versions of heat, said Naruto. Hiwabashi opens its mouth. A blue light begins to ignite. It then fires a powerful blast of deep freeze, turning the puppets into nothing but ice. The puppets then break apart. Lunar release, freezing death, Tainten, Furizadizu, and then they were 70, said Naruto in a cold tone, with his eyes becoming emotionless like a frozen forest. Sasori looked at Naruto's puppets with an impressed look. All his years as a puppeteer, he has never seen someone as skilled as Naruto, well except for himself and his grandmother. Naruto truly is true master of puppet technique, Kugetsutsukai, and had even been able to master Fuinjutsu at a level that would take people decides to become masters at. He can still remember when Naruto was that scared child who believed everyone was out for him, but now he's a true shinobi with his own art. And unlike his granny and the people of Konohagakure, he rather not have the blonde child not knowing who his parents. He also didn't see the problem in telling Naruto about his heritage. Sure, he and Naruto had a different childhood. His parents were alive but were killed by Tsukumo Hatake Konoha's white fan, Shiroi Kiba. But he didn't found out until years later and was lied by his grandmother of their whereabouts. Sasori grins at the puppets Naruto has been known to use. He then gained a serious expression. No doubt Naruto's clone had killed Deidara, and knowing Naruto, he plans to turn him into a human puppet, thought Sasori. He then commands 5 of the shatter. Naruto's finger barely move, but the limbs and head enter inside of the shell. He commands the turtle puppet to spin. The 5 charged at the animal puppet with their weapons, but as they hit shatter, they break once they come in contact. Naruto then commands the puppet to charge at the puppets, destroying each of them. Crush shell, Kurashishuru, said Naruto. Shatter begins to charge at Sasori, but he commands his puppets to release a volley of kunai, but just like before they are deflected. Ryuta then hops on the shell. The puppet then fires lava balls at the puppets, melting 4 of them. Ryuta jumps off of Shaduru and crushes the puppets underneath its weight. Shatter then destroys 4 more puppets. Sasori then groans in pain as Maybure had appeared behind. He attempted to slash it with his blades, but thanks to the speed seal it was able to avoid it. Water relead, rapid torrent technique, Suetun, Kuryu no Jutsu, said Naruto. Hakoki, it opens its mouth. A fast water projectiles easily rip his puppets apart. Both Ryuta and Hakoki, it fires blast of water and lava, but Sasori uses his chakra strings to create a wall of puppet parts. He grits his teeth as the wall of puppet begins to slowly break through, but he quickly places himself with a puppet. He then appears next to Hiwabashi. Sasori then destroyed it with his blades. Sasori then feels various of his chakra strings. He turned and sees a Kairyu releasing boil release, Futton, from its jaws. Sasori quickly calls back his puppets. He then narrowed his eyes. So, I only have 43 while I only managed to destroy 1, thought Sasori. Each of the puppets opened their mouths and unleashed over 1,000 of Saban. Naruto narrowed his eyes. He quickly slammed his hands on the ground and a giant earth walk rises from the ground, blocking the assault of the Saban. He then forced to dodge as 2 puppets attack him. He dodges right, but the puppet was still able to nick his cheek. He quickly jumps back and commanded Donyoku to pierce his right through the puppets. Naruto ordered Yutakemono to slam its tail against the other puppets, destroying them. It then released a powerful wind blast, blowing them to pieces, but it suddenly comes to a halt when various of Sasori's puppets destroyed it. Naruto then activated the speed seal on Maybure. The puppet quickly blitz from the side of the other puppets. Chio can't help but to watch with interest. The aged woman hasn't seen a battle like this, mostly due to there hasn't been any puppet masters with skills that can rival Sasori, but here standing in front of her is a boy who's a puppet master, but not only that, but a person from Konohagakure. To top it off, this Naruto is something. His puppets are much more skilled than the average puppet master, and he's able to control 2 puppets with just a single chakra string. Only a true puppet master is capable of that, thought Chio as she watches Donyoka fires a volley of poisonous Senbon, but each of the puppets fire their own set of Senbon. But Naruto quickly activated the iron seal, allowing the serpent puppet to survive. Naruto's finger twitched. Malicious seal, avatar of hell, and Shitsufuin, Toni no Gonin, said Naruto. Seal on Daiji Kagato glows. The alligator puppet opened its mouth. A cerulean flame begins to build up. Sasori then creates a huge wall of all the puppets. Daiji Kagato released a huge torrent of flames. As the flame had torched various of the puppets, Ikari then hops onto of Donyoku and charges at the puppets. Sasori narrowed his eyes. He then commands his puppets to release a huge volley of kunai. The steel release, Kotan, activated. Sasori, Sakura, and Chio stare in shock as they watch the wooden puppet becomes a steel puppet. Its laser, Reza, glows in a bright light. Laser release, Neo Ray technique, Reza, Neo Ray no Jutsu, said Naruto. The chameleon puppet opens its both end and rotating yellow light of energy is released. It cuts through the head of a puppet. Naruto then commands it to turn its head, destroying 7 more puppets. Sasori grits his teeth. One of his puppets opened its mouth, and a vapor is released. This isn't good. I know have 36 puppets. Those puppets are far stronger than I originally thought. He's truly a puppet master and Fuinjutsu master, but let's see how you do about this 50 hands of blades performance. 50 my no ha, thought Sasori. He then uses his chakra strings to connect to all the limbs. Remember Naruto, you shouldn't let your guard down until your enemy is dead. Also, a true puppeteer can use anything as a weapon, not just the puppet, stated Sasori. Each hand and head extends a blade. He then commands all the arms and heads then fly towards Naruto and his puppets. Naruto backflips on a Karyu. He then commands the Crimson Dragon to fly up, while he ordered the other puppets to spread apart. He then grits his teeth as 10 of his puppets come down and stab their blades into both Donyoku and Yutakemono. Ryuta appears above the puppets and stomp on the heads. He then twirls around, slams his tail against the puppets, shattering them on contact before the other puppets could stab into him. Maybure slashes its claws at the puppets. 10 more puppets charge at the 2 animal puppets, jump back and dodge as the puppets attempt to rip them apart. Heikakui then points its tail at the puppets and fires a spear at them, destroying them. With only 15 puppets left, Sasori glares at the puppets that are littered around them. Sasori turned towards Naruto, who has a stoic expression, not even worried for the destruction of his puppets. Red secret technique, Inferno formation, Akahiji, Inferno Kisi, said Sasori. The red-haired puppeteer then charges at Maybure. He skillfully dodges Ryuta. He then backflips away from Heikakuit. He quickly jumps back as Heikakuit releases a teal mist from his tail, but Sasori jumps onto the shell of Shattera. He then jumps up in the air and commands 5 of to charge at Ryuta. The first puppet kicks Ryuta in the air while the second and third extend their palms and a hook comes out attaching the hooks to the wrist. It then yanks Ryuta down with incredible speed. Sasori appeared in front of the Komodo dragon puppet. He then extended his palms. A huge torrent of flames is then released from his palms, torching the puppet to a crisp. Naruto jumps back and looks at his remaining puppets. He'd created these puppets to be able to kill high-level Jounin. He was aware the poison he used won't have an effect on Sasori due to his master not having any organs, and if Sasori did have organs, he knew Sasori was too smart to allow himself to be poisoned. So, this the power that Shisho used to take over a whole nation. He's definitely a fear and powerful Sunigakure shinobi, someone who shouldn't ever be taken lightly. He was able to take out Donyoku, Yutakemono, Ryuta, and Hiwabashi, but that doesn't matter. This fight is far from over, thought Naruto. Sakura turned towards Naruto, who has an unreadable expression on his face. She was wondering just how long Naruto was wearing a mask. Sakura wanted to help Naruto, but he made it clear it doesn't want or need anyone's help. Come on Naruto, you can do this, thought Sakura. She did feel hurt that Naruto didn't act like himself around Team 7 or anyone in Konohagakure, but she was also aware she wasn't the best person to be around or a friend that matters. She felt hurt that the only person he allowed to see his true self is Sasori, a missing ninja of Sunigakure, a member of the Akatsuki. The Pink Net also hopes that Naruto and herself can become friends. Both puppet master glares at each other with neither giving the other a sign of giving up. Even with their puppets destroyed, they still aren't ready to yield. Water release, water rifle shot, Suetun, Mizure Furashato, said Naruto. Heikakuit opened its mouth and fires a high-powered water bullet. Sasori easily dodges, but his eyes went wide as the bullet had pierced through a large boulder. Sasori is then forced to dodge and do his best not to get hit. Naruto is then forces Heikakuit to jump back, avoiding the 2 puppets who are wielding swords. Akaryu then release a blast of steam that melted the 2 puppets. Both Konochi watched in shock as Akari had turned invisible. A crash can be heard. Sasori turned his head and sees 3 of his puppets each destroyed with a hole in their chest. Sasori then commands his puppets to split up. 5 of the puppets, one set of the group had fired Saban and another 5 set had released their own set of Saban while Sasori released a torrent of fire from his palms. Naruto then commanded Akari to get in front of him. The dragon puppet opens its mouth. Nova release. Heating cyclone. Shinsaiten. Kanetsu Saikuran no Jutsu. Said Naruto. The dragon release a golden yellow flaming cyclone from its jaws, obliterating the last of puppets before the flames can burn Sasori. He replaced himself with one of his destroyed puppets. He then appears next to the blonde puppeteer ready to slash him to pieces, but Naruto quickly unsealed his sword, stopping the poison lace blades into cutting into himself. But even with him wielding his sword, the chakra threads are still attached to his puppet. Chio stares at Naruto with a shocked expression. This Naruto must truly be gifted to block Sasori's attack and to still have the chakra threads attached to his puppets, said Chio with a bewildered expression. Sakura turned towards the aged Sunagekyo woman with a confused expression on her face. Lady Chio, is it really that hard? I thought you, Sasori, and Kankuro can do it too, said Sakura. Chio then gains a serious expression, while Sasori and myself can do it. Other puppeteers who aren't extremely skilled can't. Doing such thing creates great concentration. You must still mold your chakra into threads and control your puppets while at the same time fighting your opponent with a weapon, and something like that is anything but easy. A puppeteer must always keep their focus on the chakra threads or it'll give your enemy a chance to get the upper hand, said Chio. Watches as Naruto drops to his hands and feet and kicks Sasori in the gut, sending the man back a few feet. The 4th scroll on his back glows. Water stream shooters, Yosuri Mishuta, said Sasori. He then shoots a pressurized streams of water from the pipes in his palms, similar to a water cannon. He does this by twisting his wrists like knobs. He quickly shunshin himself on shatter. The arms and legs retreat into the shell. The 2 puppet quickly swerves around, dodging the water blast. Sasori stops firing his water shooters. He then uses his chakra strings to bring 2 katanas to him. He then uses his coil as a spring to launch himself at Naruto with blinding speed. The man knees Naruto in the face. He jumps behind him and stabs the blonde teen in the shoulders. Naruto headbutts Sasori in the face. He then grabs Sasori by the face and throws Sasori over his shoulder. Sasori then runs at Naruto with blinding speed. He kicks Naruto in the gut, causing Naruto to release a silent gasp of pain. Sasori then wraps the coil around Naruto's waist and pulls it back. He then punched Naruto in the jaw. He then released his hold on Naruto, who gets flung back and hits a large boulder. Sayori then points his hands at Naruto. 2 pipes come out of his hands. Sasori then released a torrent of water from them. Naruto then has Shaduru in front of him. Shaduru opens its mouth. A spark of lime green lightning begins to pick up plasma. Release. Howling torrent, Keshitin, Tobois, said Naruto. A lime green spiraling energy blast is released from its mouth. As the water and plasma come in contact, a huge explosion is released. The explosion was so massive the rocks are literally ripped from the earth, causing Chio and Sakura to shield themselves from the huge dust storm. Naruto then wipes the blood from his mouth. You should know something, Shisho. These puppets were intended to kill high-level jounin, but they also were created for another purpose, and that purpose is to kill Kaiges, said Naruto. Sasori, Sakura, and Chio stood shocked at the claim. It was incredibly bold, and yet they were unsure what to think. The Sentinel, Kanjian Shaduru, Meibare, Heikakoit, Ikari, Akaryu, and Daiji Kagato begins to shine brightly. Now it's time to show you the fruit of my puppetry, Shisho. Orange Secret Technique, Colossal Puppet God Technique, Orange Hiji, Kaiodana Ninjyo no Kami no Jutsu, said Naruto. Akaryu eyes glowed yellow. It then begins to transform into a warrior mode, but suddenly Akari begins to transform. It then sets itself on top of the head, and looking like a shogun helmet. Shatter then splits apart, becoming armored gauntlets. The gauntlets then attack themselves to the arms of the transformed Akaryu. Daiji Kagato splits apart in 2 pieces, the head transformed into a large chest piece, while the torso splits in half and transformed into shoulder blades. Meibare and Heikakuit both transformed into large boots with as they come in contact with the legs of Akaryu they latch themselves on. Also each of the tails merged into 2 long katanas. With the transformation complete, the giant puppet now appears to look like a shogun. Kaiodana Ninjyo no Kami easily towers each of them. Sasori couldn't believe it. This was something he had never seen. Never in his life had he ever seen such a humongous puppet. He then sees Naruto using 5 fingers to control the colossal puppet, so for Naruto to use this thing he must use 5 fingers to actually control it. I'm impressed. For something this long it would usually cause the person to use all of their fingers, thought Sasori, who looks up at the large puppet. Chio stares at the puppet with an equally shocked expression. In all her life she has seen various types of puppets. Sure, others have combined their puppets together, but never like this. Then again, she had never seen someone combine Fuinjutsu and Kugetsukai. She had also never seen someone create an animal puppet, Debutsu no Ninjyo. Before this creation is what every puppetry strives for, to create the greatest puppet. But Naruto wasn't a shinobi of Sunagekure but was a shinobi of Konohagakure, thought Chio, who stares at amazement. Sakura couldn't believe what she just witnessed. She had never thought such thing was possible. Even when she took the Chunin exams in Sunagekure, she had witnessed various of people had used puppets and a giant fan, but this was another level. This is incredible. Just how strong have you gotten, Naruto? Wondered Sakura. This puppet is called End of Life, Jinseowari, Fitting name is it not, Shisho? This is my art, I still remember what you said, said Naruto. Sasori nods his head, his eyes glance from Jinseowari to Naruto. Art is everlasting and this creation is what art should be, but let's see if this Jinseowari is truly capable of killing a Kage. This the final and last test, said Sasori. He then extended the both of his hands and two pipes come from his palms. He then rotates his palms and flames are released, but before the flames can even touch Jinseowari he vanished and appeared next to him and punches Sasori. The man tries to protect himself by making a shield with bladed poles on his back and wrapping his coils around himself, but that still doesn't stop Sasori from being punched into a rock. Sasori is forced to use the coil as a spring to launch himself away from being stomped on by Jinseowari. Sasori narrowed his eyes at the puppet, so that size isn't just for show, he's also incredibly strong and fast, mumbled Sasori. The red-haired man picks up two katanas and is standing on top of the coil. Jinseowari then extends both of his hands, the gauntlets open up and begins to rotate. Orange secret technique, crossing thousand blades, Orangihiji, Senaheo Wataru, said Naruto, but instead of firing just regular Senbon, the Senbon being fired by the left arm are on fire while the ones on the right are covered in lightning. The Senbon are also flying at Sasori at blinding speed. Sasori other forced to deflect the flaming and thundering Senbons with his swords and coil, but the man grits his teeth. As he's pushed back, his eyes narrowed as he begins to realize the Senbon are cracking. Sasori quickly shuns ship away, allowing the swords to be ripped in pieces. He then forced to run, avoiding himself from being killed by the Senbon. He quickly grabs a Naginata. He launched himself at Jinseowari. He then wrapped its coil around the head of Jinseowari. Sasori narrowed his eyes as three Senbon had pierced into his arm, leg, and chest. He then begins to rotate his wrist, allowing himself to deflect the Senbon in a much fast pace. As he's in the face of Jinseowari, he kicked it in the face. He then dodges Jinseowari's attempt to grab him. As he's in the air, he wraps the coil around him. Red secret technique, Stinger buzzsaw technique, Akahiji, Tsuringa Bazusa no Jutsu, exclaimed Sasori, who begins to spin in a fast manner, becoming a blur. He then come down on Jinseowari, ready to cut through the puppet. Naruto then orders Jinseowari to raise its arm to block the attack, shocking everyone who is watching. Sasori then narrowed his eyes, so destroying Jinseowari won't be easy. Okay, let's see how powerful this thing really is, my student. Very well timed to kick it up. Red technique, blazing spinning saw technique, Akahiji, Moribosakimi no Jutsu, exclaimed Sasori. As spinning increases even further beyond that, his wrist begins to twirl around and encased himself in fire. He then pressed harder, pushing Jinseowari back, but Jinseowari pushes Sasori back. Naruto then commands Jinseowari to lock in its fist and slams Sasori into the ground. A loud crash can be seen. Chio and Sakura stood shocked as Sasori is in pieces, but they can only see the lower half of Sasori's body destroyed but not his upper body. They then turned and see Sasori attaching his upper half with the lower part of a puppet. Naruto, that puppet of yours truly is impressive. I doubt my grandmother or that pink-haired child could take what you did and be able to walk away, but this is far from over, my student, said Sasori, who twirls a Naginata in his left hand while he wields a long sword in his right time. The tension becomes so thick between the two you could literally see the atmosphere between the two. A battle against student and sensei. Fox versus Scorpion, both skilled in their own Kogetsukai. Shisho, not only is Jinseowari is a combination between Shaduru, Ikari, Meibare, Akiryu, Heikakoit, and Dajikagato, but it also has its own abilities and theirs, said Naruto, shocking Sasori, Chio, and Sakura. The left hand of Jinseowari closes. A lime green energy surrounds his hand and takes a form of a Chinese dragon that has 3 eyes and 2 curved horns, and the right opens its palm and bright warm energy comes together and forms a small sphere. The right closes and its hand becomes as bright as the sun itself. Plasma release, Plasma Dragon Barrage, Keshitin, Keshoria Renpatsu, Nova release, Sun Flare technique, Shinsaitan, Sanfura no Jutsu, exclaimed Naruto. That he extends both arms, causing both Keshitin and Shinsaitan to be launched at Sasori. As the Keshoria Renpatsu is launched, the dragon splits itself at 3 and roaring angrily at Sasori, ready to kill him. And as for the Sanfura, it is released in a bright orange beam of heat. Sasori quickly uses the headhunter technique to go understand, saving himself from death while underground. He can feel a large tremor. If I hadn't used the earth release, double suicide decapitation technique, Doton, Shinjuzanshu no Jutsu, I would be good as death. I doubt even the Yondaime Kazakage or any of the Kages could survive that, said Sasori. While he was underground above land, both jutsu had obliterated everything that was in size, and destruction didn't even stop until the attack became 3 miles long. The attack soon became to halt. Sasori rises back to surface but stands in shock as he stands in a giant crater. He then turned back to staring at the puppet in shock. Tth, that puppet. Such raw talent. So this is the power of a Fuinjutsu puppet. It's horrifying, exclaimed a shocked Sakura. She knew puppetry was a skillful ability, but Naruto had brought it to another level. She also wasn't sure if Tsunade or Kakashi would be able to defeat that thing, and they were the most skilled ninjas in the village. Naruto, have you always been this strong? If so, why hide it? Thought Sakura. Sasori shakes off his shock and glares at Jinseowari. Sasori knew this puppet was not only one of Naruto's strongest puppets, but one of the most dangerous. Red secret technique, Heaven and Hell Clash, Akahiji, Tentajigaku no Kurashu, exclaimed Sasori. He extended both of his hands out, and two wipes come out then begin to spin, but they spin so fast there becomes blurs. Out of the left hand a huge torrent of fire is released, while a blinding fast water is released. Jinseowari jumps in mid-air, its fist then turns into steel and punches the ground, causing a huge rock to rise out of it, then punches the rocks at high speed, sending super fast of sharp rocks at Sasori, who jumps in the air, then twirls around in mid, destroying the rocks. He then hops onto his coil, it then spins him, thus creating a fire and water sphere that burns and he cuts through the rocks like nothing. He then uses the coil to dispatch the last of the rocks that were thrown at him. Sasori then uses his chakra threads to pull a naginata and a katana into his hands. He then watches as Jinseowari unsheathed both of the swords. Sasori and Jinseowari then vanish. They then appear on the side of the wall with Sasori pushing Jinseowari back. He then uses his coil to stab Jinseowari through the head, but Jinseowari's body then becomes as hard as stone. He then breaks apart from Sasori and kicks him back. Jinseowari charges at him. Both Jinseowari and Sasori becomes blur. They then reappeared outside of crater. Sasori then smacks Jinseowari to the side. He then stabs both weapons in the ground. He then goes through hand signs of rat, tiger, dog, mouse, dog, and ram. He then claps his hands together. Earth release. Twin dragon barrage assault, Doton, Tsunryo Hogiki. Said Sasori. From the ground 4 large mud dragons rise from the ground and are launched towards Jinseowari. Sasori then released a huge wide torrent of fire. The mud dragons then become a flaming mud dragons. The dragons then release a volley of fire mud balls. Jinseowari crossed its arm taking the assault. It then shunshin in a bright little away from the mud dragons, causing it to crash into the wall. It then appears inside of the crater. Its eyes glowed green, firing at Sasori, who backflips in mid-air. He grabs the naginata, deflecting the lasers. You'll have to do better, said Sasori. He then goes through the hand signs of rat, ram, snake, boar, dragon, dog, tiger, horse and boat. Red secret technique, overflowing firebird parade technique, Akihiji, a Furufe Abato Parito no Jutsu. Roared Sasori. He then released 5 fireballs from his lungs. Each of the fireballs then transformed into a bird. Sasori then released flames from his pipes, thus incredibly the size of the birds, making them massive. Each of the birds become too hot, it literally turned the rocks into glass. Jinsei grips both of his swords tightly. The swords then turn into metal. Each of the sword gains a jagged like edge steel release. Iron claw technique, Kotan, Tetsunode no Jutsu, Ash release, Smog Dragonic Snake Path technique, Haitan, Sumigiryu Ikusunakupasu no Jutsu. Said Naruto. Jinseowari points both of the swords at Sasori. The hands then begins to spin. A gray and red ash begins to swell around. The ash then takes an appearance of a cross between a snake and dragon. The two techniques clash, creating a burning cloud. Naruto smiles at Sasori, who smiles back at him. I knew this fight wasn't going to be easy, but I knew both of us will be pushed beyond our limits. But let me show you one of Jinseowari's original abilities, Disaster Release. Hell's Vengeance Tunnel, Seigaten, Jigaku Fukushu no Tanera no Jutsu. Exclaimed Naruto. Jinseowari sheathed both of its blades. It then closed its hands into a fist. The left hand is surrounded by an icy swirl, while the right is covered in a swirling lava lighting. He then thrust out his fist. As the fists are launched, both techniques on his hands morph into an icy tornado and a volcanic thundering whirlwind. As both came in contact with each other, creates a tornado of lightning, ice, and lava. Sasori could only stare in shock as his own fire jutsu was swallowed by the monstrous tornado. As the tornado of mass destruction touches the puppeteer, everything explodes in a violent roar of lightning, lava, and ice. The natural disaster literally scars and destroyed the earth. Sakura and Chio stood in shock at the powerful. Her eyes widened as she sees Sasori behind Naruto. She didn't understand. She was sure he was dead. Naruto, watch out, exclaimed Sakura just as she said that. Sasori brings down the large sickle blade. I don't understand, how did he escape, exclaimed Sakura. Chio watches as Naruto blocks the blade with his own. Sasori has truly transcended that of a human, said Chio. Sakura stares at Chio with confused expression. Transcended? What do you mean, Lady Chio? asked Sakura. Instead of turning towards Sakura, she points her finger at the core where his heart should be. You see that? asked Chio. Sakura nods her head. That core is Sasori's heart, his weakness. If Naruto can stab Sasori in the heart, he's dead, but if he can't, Sasori can simply witch his core into another body. But he also doesn't experience the fatigue we do as a human puppet. He doesn't need sleep or food, said Chio. Come on, Naruto, you can do it, whispered Sakura. Sasori wraps the coil around Naruto's leg and throws him to the side. He then runs towards Naruto. He then goes for strike, ready to stab Naruto, but the blonde blocks the blade with his own. He then jumps back. Sasori then throws the sickle at Naruto with blinding speed. Naruto is then forced to duck down to the ground. Sasori then picks up 2 swords and rushes at Naruto. He then swings at Naruto, but the blonde blocks it. Both redhead and blonde tries to get the upper hand of the other. Naruto is then forced to dodge left as the coil attempts to stab him in the head. Both jump back and then charge at each other. Sasori attempts to kick Naruto, but the blonde matches the kick. The coil is then wrapped around Naruto's throat, crushing it. He then released a gasp of pain as he's stabbed in the ribcage by Sasori. His eyes widened in shock as he can feel his body being penetrated by dozens of saban, kunai, and blades. It seems this battle is over, my student, said Sasori in a stoic tone as he watches blood leak from Naruto's lip. Naruto grins in response, not a fox-like grin like he had used when using his knucklehead facade. No, this grin was a true grin of victory. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Laser release, Omega 4th dimension effect, Reza, Hiragana Daijujin no Aikyo no Jutsu. Whispered Naruto, shocking Sasori. Jinseowari's eyes glow red at them, fires 2 beams from its eyes. The beams quickly swerved around Jinseowari and then zigzag itself into the core of Sasori. Instead of the beams thrusting themselves directly into Naruto, they curve upwards and curve directly into the ground. Sasori's arms then becomes numb. Naruto holds on to Sasori, helping him to the ground. You did it, my student, you've defeated me. Congratulations, you've pasted your next time. Before I go, I wish to tell you something. I am proud of you. I've watched from a loud-mouthed child into a young shinobi. You've grown so much, Naruto. I'm so proud to see you mature into a true shinobi, one able to hide in plain sight. But more so, I begin to think of you more of a student. I've come to think of you as a son of my own. For that I'm happy to see you surpass me," said Sasori, shocking Naruto, Chio, and Sakura. Naruto's eyes begin to swell up with tears. "Now I know you want to know about Orochimaru, my former teammate before Deidara? Go to the Tenchi Bridge in the Hidden Grass Village 10 days from now at noon. One of Orochimaru's henchmen is a spy of mine. I'm supposed to meet him there. But you'll take my place now. Continue going as a shinobi and puppet master. This is only the beginning, my son," said Sasori. He then closes his eyes with a smile on his face. Naruto could only cry as his father figure, the only person who he truly trusted, later dead in his arms. Chio looks down in sadness as Naruto cries, not even concerned about the Jinseowari separating. Sasori, you must have truly care for Naruto. I've never once seen you care for someone as much as you did for Naruto, and you even smiled at him. Sasori, you didn't hold back at all against Naruto," thought Chio. She then turned her head as she hears the sound of footsteps. She then sees the Kagebushin carrying Gaara and Kakashi, who's running next to him. Naruto wipes away the tears and turned towards his clone. "How is he?" asked Naruto, who's staring at the sleeping Gaara, who looks pale. The clone hands Naruto the scroll containing the corpse of Deidara. The clone gains a serious expression. "We were able to save him in time, but he lost a lot of chakra," said the clone. Naruto sighs. "Very well, you collect the remains of Hirako, Sandaime Kazekage, Donyoku, Yutakemono, Ryuta, and Hiwabashi. We're going to head back to village so Gaara can be treated," said Naruto. He then seals Shaduru, Meibare, Heikakuite, Ikari, Akiryu, and Dajikagato back into the scroll. The clone hands Gaara to Naruto, while the clone begins to seal the other puppets, Team 7 and Chio, back to the village. Once they made it back to the village, Sakura along with Chio helped to heal the red-headed sand user and Kakashi, who's exhausted from using his Sharingan. The sensei of Gaara walks towards Team 7 and Team Guy. The man bows towards them. "Thank you for saving our Kazekage. We're forever in your debt," said Baki in a respected tone. His eyes were focused on Naruto. Kakashi and Lady Chio had told him what happened, and the man couldn't help but be impressed with the skill the blonde Jinchuriki had toned to him. Naruto had the attribute of a true shinobi. Might Guy grins at Baki with his infamous good guy pose. Lee joins his sensei with his own grin. "YSH. If we were unable to bring back Kazekage-sama, then I would run 500 handstand laps around both Konoha and Suna," yelled very excitedly. How has fire in his eyes. Guy grins at his student. "That's the spirit, Lee. Your youthness is overflowing, and if you can't do that, then you'll do 1,000 laps, my youthful student," yelled Guy, who seems like he's ready to actually run from Konohagakure to Sunagakure. Niji released a heavy sigh as he watches Tenten hit both Lee and Guy in the back of their head. Tenten also has a giant red tick mark on the side of her head. She looks at the two taijutsu specialists with an annoyed expression on her face. "What the hell is wrong with you two idiots? We're in a hospital, for crying out loud," snarled Tenten in a very low tone, and clearly ignoring the painful whimpers that are coming from both taijutsu specialists. Niji shook his head to his team, and noticing Baki had a sweat drop on the side of his head, he even had a nervous smile, not sure what to make of the eccentric taijutsu users. He then turns towards Naruto. "I was also sent by Kazekage-sama. He wishes to see you in his private room," said Baki. If Naruto was surprised, he didn't show it. He simply nods his head at the bald jounin and follows him. Baki then turns towards Naruto with a grateful smile. "I know everyone in Sunagakure has thanked you for saving Gaara-sama, but thank you for saving him, my Kage, my student. You have done something no one in this village was able to do. I honestly don't know what we would do if we lost Gaara. I'm not sure how much this village would take if we lost Gaara. He honestly is best Kazekage we've had," said Baki. The man couldn't help but to chuckle. Not only has Naruto saved Gaara from himself, but he also saved him from the Akatsuki. The man had only wished Naruto and Gaara had known each other earlier. "There's no need to thank me, Baki. I would have saved Gaara even if it was against Tsunade's orders. Even if my village ordered me not to save him, I would gladly save him without hesitation. But maybe this will show our villages that the Akatsuki is a major threat, and will continue to be a threat as long as they are around," said Naruto. He knew as long as each village tries to one-up each other, the Akatsuki will continue to be one step ahead of them. It's one of the reasons why he hates the elders. They are so blinded by the old ways and refuse to see the ninja world as it is now. To him, having Kohara and Hamura as advisors was a waste of time. You would think to have advisors who were trained by Tobirama Senju would be wise, but that obviously isn't the case with the two aged ninjas. Baki couldn't help but smile at Naruto. "But still, thank you for everything you did, but it seems you have but a lot of thought the Akatsuki problem," said Baki. He also knew what Naruto was saying was true. If two S-rank ninjas were capable of causing this much damage, then everyone was in trouble. Not only that, but Itachi and Kisame were part of this group, and both of them were Kage level, and could easily infiltrate any village and kill said village's Kage with no trouble. But you are right, maybe it is time each village sees the Akatsuki as a worldwide problem, but unlike Konohagakure and Sunagakure, the other villages see their Jinchuriki as weapons. But times are changing, and I believe it is time we change too, states Baki. Today had been a real eye-opener, and he knew if it wasn't for Team 7 then both Gaara and Kankuro would be dead. He honestly couldn't be happier for the friendship of Naruto and Gaara. It was a true miracle that the bond these two had. Naruto said nothing, he just nodded his head in agreement with as the two walks down the hallway. Naruto notices the nurses and ninjas look at him with gratitude and admiration. He even noticed a few of the Sunagakure kunoichi giggling at him. Even though he didn't care what others thought of him, it was refreshing not to be glared at every time he steps outside. But since the final test is over, he can finally stop hiding behind the idiotic mask. Sure, show I'll make you proud and become the greatest puppet master, and that's a promise of a lifetime, thought Naruto. Baki stops a door and turns towards Naruto. This is Kazekage-sama's room. He's been waiting to see you since he has woken up. I have other duties to attend to. The council is still worried about our leader. Sad Baki. He made a quick bow and walks in the opposite direction. Once Naruto opens the door, he sees Gaara sitting up. Naruto, my friend, I see you had no trouble in getting here, commented Gaara. Gaara watches Naruto takes a seat. No, unlike Kakashi, I'm not late, and I hate being kept waiting. But what about you? Asked Naruto. Gaara looks at Naruto with a questionable stare. How are you feeling? Questioned Naruto. He knew unlike him, Gaara's seal wasn't done by a seal master. He knew it was because of the flaw that Shikaku would try to drive Gaara mad and attempt to take over Gaara's body when he slept. I'm doing better than before, Shikaku, and I came to an agreement. If I allow him semi-control when facing the Akatsuki and 20 minutes of freedom, he'll let me sleep and gain full control of his chakra. Fortunately, he agreed to the terms, but your sensei had told me about your mask. There's something I must know. Those years ago, what you told me, was that you or the mask? Asked Gaara. Let me ask you something? Asked Naruto. Gaara nods head. Do you honestly think I consider Sasuke a friend? Questioned Naruto with a smirk on his whiskered face. Gaara smiles at his friend and shook his head negatively. No, I don't believe so. Naruto, you truly are one surprising ninja, said Gaara, who was happy that he and his fellow Jinchuriki were friends. He knew he was probably the only one who understood the pain he went through. The only real difference is that he had his sand protecting him, while Naruto didn't. As long as you don't call me a knucklehead ninja. I really hate that name that Kakashi gave me, said Naruto. Being called a knuckle-headed ninja had always pissed him off, along with Kakashi's consist being late and his poor excuse of training well. At least as now I won't have to hide how I feel about my team, thought Naruto. Right, I'll keep that in mind, said Gaara, who had a smile on his face. But Kakashi and Sakura don't seem pleased with the real you, states Gaara. Naruto just shrugged shoulders. They can go fuck themselves for all I care. How I live my life is my business, not theirs. Besides, I didn't become a ninja to gain anyone's approval. I became a ninja to become the strongest puppet master ever, said Naruto with a grin. And of course, being a Hokage who will surpass all the Hokage before me, said Naruto. Gaara smiles at that. So, he still wants to be Hokage. Good, I was afraid that was part of his mask, thought Gaara. The sand user extends his hand out, and Naruto takes his hand. I look forward to seeing what kind of Kage you become, said Gaara with a proud smile. He just hopes next time the Akatsuki comes he'll be fighting alongside Naruto. Naruto grins at Gaara. And I look forward to fighting alongside you, my friend, said the blonde puppeteer. Time skip. In front of the gates of Sunagakure, Gaara, Lady Chio, and his siblings stand across Team 7 and Team Guy. Kakashi turns towards Gaara and bows to the young Kage in respect. Thank you for letting us stay in your village, Kazekage-sama, said Kakashi in a respectful tone, but still had the lazy expression on his face. It was a pleasure having you in Sunagakure, even though the circumstances were less desirable, said Gaara as he remembered what Guy had told him about the advance henge. It was actually unnerving what the members of the Akatsuki were capable of. A meeting between the villages needed to happen. After all, Kisame and Itachi are huge threats. Kakashi rubs the back of his head. Yeah, but you and your brother are safe. A mission complete minus the few bumps in the road, said Kakashi with an eye smile. Temari smiles at the Leaf Ninjas, but her smiles were more directed to Naruto. Thank everyone, and thank you, Naruto, you saved my family once again. I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to repay you back for everything you've done, said Temari. She then turns towards Sakura. And thank you, Sakura, for saving Kankuro, said Temari. Sakura smiles brightly at the elder blonde. It's no problem, we're glad to help, said Sakura. Yeah, what Haruno said, we're glad to help, said Naruto. Sakura frowns at the fact that he called her by her last name. Kakuro then walks towards Naruto with his infamous smirk. The next time you visit, how about we compare notes? I'm interested in the mechanism you use, said Kankuro. Naruto nods his head at his fellow puppeteer. Sure, Kankuro, I'm curious about the poisons you use. We could swap notes, said Naruto with a smirk. I'll like that, and maybe we could spar, said Naruto. The two puppet masters shook hands, showing a sign of respect they had for each other. Sure, I'll like that. Just don't feel bad if I break one of your puppets, joked Kankuro. I could say the same, commented Naruto. Gaara then turns towards the blonde shinobi. I look forward to the next time we meet. Just remember, Sunagakure will always be open to you, said Gaara. Naruto nods his head and places his hand on Gaara's shoulder. Right, I'll make sure to visit. Be safe, Gaara, said Naruto. You too, my friends, said Gaara, but unnoticed to everyone Naruto hands Gaara a small scroll. As the two shake hands, Naruto begins to walk back to his team. Before they can step outside the walls of Sunagakure, Chio stops Naruto, causing the blonde to turn towards the elder puppeteer. Something wrong, Lady Chio? Asked Naruto. He accepted her to glare at him since he killed her grandson, but instead, she smiles at him in a grandmother manner. There's no need to be formal with me, young one. You are my grandson Sam, and that makes you my great-grandson, but please visit soon, Naruto. I blame myself for the dark path Sasori had taken, and I want to know the boy my Sasori raised. Can you do that for me? Asked Chio. She watches as Naruto nods his head, causing her smile to widen even more. That's great to hear. I want to give you something, said Chio. She then hands Naruto a white scroll. I could nonsense death. I know Sasori would want you to have it. Trust me, it's the least I can do. Besides, it would be better in your hands than collecting dust, commented Chio. Yes, of course, Granny, said Naruto. She smiles at him. She and the Sand siblings watch as the Leaf Ninjas walk away from the Sunagakure. While Gaara watches the ninjas become distant from his view, he then looks down to the scroll. Why did your eyes look so cold when you handed me this scroll? Thought Gaara. He had a feeling whatever was in the scroll was for his eyes only. Gaara then vanished in a sand shunsin, causing Temari, Kankuro, and Chio to wonder about Gaara. Kankuro raised an eyebrow at Temari. What the hell was that about? Asked Kankuro. Temari shrugged her shoulders. Who knows? Said Temari. She, her brother, and Chio then venture back to the village. As the Konoha team makes its way through the desert, Tenten stares at his sword in wonder. Even from a first glance she could tell the sword was special, and wasn't like some ordinary sword. She could also see that Naruto took good care of his sword. Hey Naruto, does your sword have a name? Asked a curious Tenten. He turns towards the weapon specialist. It's called Eye of Leviathan. Review Aizen. Tenten, your dream is to be the world's best weapon user, right? Asked Naruto. Out of all the girls from Konoha 11, he respected Tenten the most. Mostly due to the fact, unlike Sakura and Ino, who became ninjas for a guy's attention, Tenten wanted to be a powerful kunoichi like Tsunade. Even though Ino is from a clan, she doesn't impress him. Then again, neither does Shikamaru or Choji. He always had a low option on the three clans. To him, they along with the Inuzuka were the weakest clans in Konoha. He also hates Kiba. His loud, obnoxious attitude had always annoyed him. There would be times where he hoped someone would kill the K9 shinobi. He was just happy Kiba wasn't his teammate, but having Sakura as a teammate was anything but pleasant. He had promised himself, when he becomes Hokage, he'll fix the village, and that includes team placement. Tenten turns towards Naruto with a huge smile on her face and nods her head. Yep. I want to be a powerful kunoichi like Tsunade-sama. While I don't have the chakra control to be a medical ninja, I still want to be a strong kunoichi in my own way, exclaimed Tenten with pride. That's quite the ambition. Good, a ninja is only as strong as their own ambition, said Naruto. Tenten then blushes at the compliment. But to give your weapons another push, I suggest learning your element affinity. It would help you advance even further, said Naruto. Tenten nods her head, glad for his input. She then grins at him. You know I like you better this way. Stupid does not suit you, exclaimed Tenten. Before she thought he was just a loudmouth idiot like many others, but she had to admit she liked him. Without his mask he was a far better company and more insightful. I couldn't agree more. Pretending to be a brainless imbecile who couldn't grasp the most common things was nothing short but a huge pain in the ass. But those days are over, said Naruto in a calm tone. Niji then turns towards Naruto. Just like Tenten, he didn't have a problem with Naruto's true personal. I assume you still desire to be Hokage? Asked the Hyuga. Yes, it is. Being Hokage was always a dream of mine even before I met Sasori Shisho, states Naruto. He can still remember before he met Sasori back when was in constant fear and hunger. Back then he had lost hope. It was not for Sasori, then he doubted he would be alive today. But he also had another goal than being Hokage and the world's strongest puppet master. He wanted creates the most powerful poisons. He knew there were only 3 people in the world who could counteract his poisons, and they were Tsunade, Shizen, and Sakura. If I want my poisons to be the strongest, deadliest, then my poisons must be stronger than any poisons before, thought Naruto with conviction. Sometime later, after the team had to debrief Tsunade on what had occurred on their mission, Tsunade stares at Naruto with her eyes narrowed. She couldn't understand why the blonde teen had hidden his time with someone like Sasori. Shizen didn't know what to make of it. She just stood back holding her master's pet Big Tonton, and Jiraiya was wondering if Naruto could be trusted. If he hiding who he actually was, then what else was he hiding? He also felt hurt that Naruto never told him about him being trained by the Kage killer. Tsunade sighs. She glad that the mission was a success and that 2 rogue ninjas were dead, but the fact that Naruto had spent his years with a man who enjoyed turning people into puppets. You're all free to go except Kakashi and Naruto, ordered Tsunade as they all bow to her and exit her office. She then turns towards the blonde. Naruto, why didn't you tell us you were trained by Sasori of the Red Sand? His teachings could have helped the people of this village, said Tsunade. Naruto scoffed at Tsunade. Why the hell would I do that? Shisho's training was for me alone, and as far as I am concerned, the people can kiss my ass. Besides, the people of Konoha have done nothing but hate, so why should I tell those ignorant fools anything? I wouldn't trust those fools, states Naruto with a scowl. He knew if he did tell them, they would leave him to the dogs and take all the credits. He also hates elders. To him, the 3 elders were completely useless, stuck in the old ways. To him, they were nothing but relics of a time that passed. He saw no reason to why Tsunade kept them around. You could trust us, Naruto. Me and Sakura, we are a team after all, said Kakashi. He then flinched at the soulless glare from Naruto. Naruto's glare deepened, glaring at Kakashi with so much hate. Trust. What the fuck do you or anyone in here? You never trained me, always focus on Uchiha, a spoiled brat, and left me to the side, the son of a Kage Jinchuriki. Why were you so focused on that arrogant piece of trash? Oh, wait, don't tell me to honor the memory of that talentless, worthless teammate Obito Uchiha. Instead of honoring the trash, you should have been honoring my father, your sensei, said Naruto. He watches as the white-haired Jounin stares at him with shock. Don't look so surprised, I know about that mission. After all, I based my mask on that pathetic teammate of yours. You know, after I finished reading everything on him, I came to a realization he was nothing but true trash, a worthless genin, the black sheep on his clan, and he was the type that died young. I bet if he was still alive he would have died along with his clan, said Naruto. Naruto, that's not fair, exclaimed Jiraiya. Naruto then glares at Jiraiya. Fair? What do you know about fair? Jiraiya of the Sannin, my godfather, even spending those 3 years you never told me about either of my parents, never training me in the one art that I would excel in. You knew Fu and Justa would be perfect for me, but you've never trained me properly. But since you three are here, I might as well say this now, I hate each of one of you, states Naruto in a cold tone. He then turns towards Kakashi. I always hated you, Sakura, and Sasuke. You may be a powerful shinobi, but you're a horrible teacher. You have knowledge of 1,000 jutsus, but you never once taught me anything. Having you as a sensei was a waste of time, making us hate, while you spend hours at a grave. They're dead, get over it, said Naruto. He then turns towards his mentor. You had a chance to tell me who was my father but never did. Instead, your stingy ass waste my time with you whoring yourself and writing those useless books. My true master has always been Sasori Shisho. He has been a true mentor and more family than you ever would be, said Naruto. Jiraiya looks down in shame, knowing he really fucked up. He hurt him that he considered Sasori family and a master. Naruto turns towards Tsunade. And you, the woman who I had to beat in a bet just so you can become the Hokage. You really are failures. The moment you saw me, you knew who parents are. The moment you heard my last name, you knew I was family. I know both the Uzumaki clan are cousins to the Senju clan, but why should I be surprised? You are just like Sabutobi, wanting me to believe I'm an orphan. I really hated him, said Naruto with a scowl on his face. All that damn old ever talk about peace and forgiving, but how could there be peace in the village when he allows Danzo to live? Sabutobi is nothing but a fool, said Naruto in a calm yet cold tone. Tsunade stares at Naruto with shock. She couldn't believe what Naruto had said. Everyone was shocked in disbelief. How could you say that after everything he's done for you? Asked Jiraiya. And what exactly has he done for me except put me in a shitty-ass apartment, giving me barely money to survive, or allow me to be beaten? Said Naruto. But I'll tell you this, Tsunade, I won't make the same mistakes you and Sarutobi, said Naruto. What do you mean? Asked Tsunade. It means I'll kill anyone who poses a threat to Konoha. But there's something I'd like to request for the mission of Tenchi Bridge, asked Naruto while he enjoyed finally telling what he actually them and Hiruzen, but they needed to get back on track and discuss what to do about their upcoming mission. Tsunade released sigh. The conversation was anything but desirable. She just hopes whatever he wanted to talk about won't as brutal. Very well, what is it that you want to talk about? Asked Tsunade. The first thing I want is I will be the one impersonating Shisho. I am the only one who understands how his mind works. After all, no one will accept a thing. I also plan on rebuilding the puppet. And the second thing I request is to remove Haruno from the mission and have Shizen take her spot, said Naruto. Each of them stares in shock. No one was more surprised than Shizen. Sakura is a capable Kuno. She's a liability. Yes, you've trained her well, but do you honestly think once she sees Uchiha she won't? Her obsession over him blinds her. And what if the spy is someone like Kabuto? Do you believe she's capable of handling someone of his caliber? We all know Kabuto is one par with Kakashi, and the only people who have fought him were me, you, and Shizen. Shizen is also a Jounin who has far more experience medical ninjutsu, poisons, ninjutsu, and genjutsu. Also, do you believe if Sasuke decided to attack us she'll fight him if necessary? States Naruto. Fine, I see your point. Shizen will replace Sakura, said Tsunade. Naruto then turns away from them. He then tosses her a piece of paper. She raised an eyebrow at the paper. She also noticed the location that was on the paper was very close to the woods, which was only a few yards away from the Forest of Death. That's my address. Do you really think I could make all puppets and poisons in that shithole? I have work to do, and don't tell Haruno I don't her bagging on my door at the crack of dawn. I also have traps and security measures. It wouldn't do well if she dies, said Naruto. Before any of them could question him, he vanished in a golden flash. Sometime later, Naruto grins at the human puppet of Deidara. He carefully puts the Senbon into the Senbon launcher. He then grabs a paper with the explosion release kanji on it, and places it on the back, and now with the final touch he grabs a gray cloak. The inside of the cloak is a burnt sienna color. With his work done, he teleports on top of the stone carving of his father. He watches as the sun begins to go down. Watching the sunset was always something he enjoyed. It was something Sasori, and he did every time they were done with training or working on a puppet. He let out a sigh at the beautiful view. He loved this spot. It was somewhere he could hide and be alone. Every time when he had to stay in the leaf he always felt horrible, but staying with his father figure had everything feel normal. Naruto narrowed his eyes. You came here to scold me for insulting my sensei, mentor, and the Hokage? questioned Naruto, who's gazing at the orange sky. Shizen walked behind Naruto with a sober expression. No, I'm worried about you. I know what's like to lose family, said Shizen, who still remembers the day she became a genin was the day that her uncle Dan was killed. Naruto gains a somber look that made him look much older. The young woman placed her hand on Naruto's shoulder. I completed the mission, but I killed him. He was the only one who didn't lie to me. He taught me everything I know and I killed him. He was my sensei, my Shursho, my father. He raised me and I killed him, said Naruto with his eyes bloodshot red and his face covered in tears. She then does something neither expect her to do. She hugs Naruto from behind, wrapping her arms around his waist. For a whole minute, she hugged the boy who had just lost his adopted father. You can trust me, I'll always be here for you. I've never lied to you. I didn't know who your parents were. Tsunade-sama never talked about the Senju clan, and I've heard about the Uzumaki. I don't ever recall hearing of the Uzumaki. Hey, I have an idea, exclaimed Shizen in a cheery tone. Naruto turns to look at her with a raised eyebrow. Where we going? Asked Naruto. Shizen shrugged her shoulders. Your pick, I'll pay, said Shizen. She had seen and heard about how much the young teen can eat, but that did not matter. She watches as Naruto rises to his feet and wiped the tears from his face. I know just the place. Give me your hand, said Naruto. He holds out his hand to her. Shizen blushes at the gesture and takes hold of his hand. The two vanished in a yellow flash and appears a few feet away in a small restaurant. She quickly takes notice. It isn't like Ichiraku Ramen. They have good food. They were also the few people who didn't outweigh hate me, said Naruto. She gains a saddened look and walks into the restaurant. As the two enter, she noticed it's only half as big as the Akimichi clan restaurant. The two make their way to a place to sit. The two then decide to sit near the window. Shizen had to admit the place gave a homey atmosphere. It also looked far better than the Jounin hangout establishment. The two didn't have to wait long for a woman to come over. She smiles warmly at him. She was a woman with a fair skin tone. She had long brown hair, honey brown colored hair. She also wears glasses and blue chef clothes. I see you're back from your mission, asked the woman. Naruto shrugged his shoulders. It went well. No one died beside the enemy, said Naruto, who was looking over the menu. The woman smiles at him. I'm just glad you're safe. And I see you brought a friend. That's rare, said the woman. She then turns towards the Ravenet woman. Hi, I'm Haruma, said Haruma. Shizen smiles at her. Hello, I'm Shizen, said Shizen, introducing herself to the woman who was familiar with Naruto. She then glances down the aisle. Have yakitori, with onion soup, and one sake bottle, said Shizen with a smile. I'll take the usual tempura with rice balls and a side of teriyaki sushi rolls, said Naruto. After writing down the orders, she heads into the kitchen, handing the order to the cooks. In a few minutes, she comes back with a warm bottle of Japanese liquor and a saucer. Shizen smiles at the waiter. She then pours herself a drink, enjoying the warm liquid going down her throat. Naruto simply just had an amused expression. With the next half an hour, Naruto, who feels slightly better and eating away on his sushi, dipping it in soy sauce, and in front of him is a heavily drunk Shizen who is drinking more liquor than her body can consume. She's also seemed to be enjoying her soup. Naruto, you really different, said a very drunk Shizen. Naruto looked at her with a raised eyebrow, wondering is the liquor affecting her mind. He had seen both Jiraiya and Tsunade drunk. He just hopes she doesn't get as loud and aggressive as her master. So, and is that supposed to be a bad thing? I'm not actually an idiot, states Naruto, knowing a few people prefer his idiotic facade. Shizen shakes her negatively. No, that's it. I actually like the real you. You seem more, I don't know, comfortable. I suppose I always liked your eyes, said Shizen, speaking the last part without thinking, causing both to blush. She takes one huge shot of alcohol, causing her to sway side by side. Her vision then becomes hazy. She then slams her head on the ground, catching the blonde by surprise by her sudden action. Yug, I needed this. All Tsunade-sama has me do all day is run around getting her more paperwork. With her falling asleep at her desk and drinking in the morning, it feels I'm babysitting her. Ah, that hit the spot, exclaimed a drunken Shizen with her face flushed with a scarlet red drunken blush. Naruto sighs, seeing this as a clear sign. He then calls over Haruma. Hey, can we get some to-go bags? Asked Naruto. He watches with a sigh as Shizen takes another shot of the warm alcohol. Haruma hands Naruto a pickup box. He then quickly puts the food away. He then drops the right amount of money and exits the restaurant with a drunken Shizen who wobbles as each step she takes. This day wasn't so bad, thought Naruto with a small smile. His nose then picks up the alcoholic scent that's coming from Shizen. She then smiles at Naruto with a drunken expression. Adorable whiskers, mumbled Shizen. She then leans into his face and places a warm kiss on his cheek, leaving shocked as he turns to her. She's passed out on his shoulder. Damn it! Stupid Uzumaki luck, grumbled Naruto. The next day, Shizen buries her face into the pillow. She then grumbles in herself, complaining about a hangover. As she opens her eyes, she noticed she wasn't in her home. Not only that, but she was surrounded by 3 large white tigers that are 5 times larger than the Inuzuka canine. Each of the tigers narrowed their eyes at her. Shizen lets a loud scream, alerting Naruto. The blonde exits out of the downstairs factory and heads to the kitchen. He sees a hangover Shizen surrounded by his tigers. Naruto sighs. So much for finishing up my seal, muttered Naruto. The young puppeteer then cracks his neck. White tiger, Bayako, Halo Lily, Harariri, and White Roar, Shiwaruan, stand down. She's a friend. ordered Naruto. Within that instant each of the tigers back down and circle around Naruto, rubbing against his legs as if they are house cats. Shizen groans and grabs hold of her head. Stay here, I'll get you coffee, said Naruto. Shizen watches as Naruto makes coffee. Thank you, mumbled Shizen. She turns her attention at the three tigers who each lay down on the ground staring at their master with great focus. Shizen lets out a sigh. What happened last night? Pondered Shizen. Suddenly a memory hit her like a freight train. Her face becomes a deep red blush across her. She quickly buried her face into her hands. I can't believe I kissed him. He's only 15. And I kissed him, thought Shizen. All she could think about was the kiss she gave Naruto as her mind was filled with last night. Her attention comes back to reality once the smell of coffee hits her nose. She takes another sniff, smelling French vanilla. She then takes a sip of coffee, enjoying the warm coffee going down her throat. She then continues to drink coffee. Savor the hot drink, this is really good, said Shizen with a warm smile. Naruto, who's drinking his own coffee, smiles. You get drunk really easily, huh? Asked Naruto. He then gets up from the chair and back in the kitchen and grabs pork sausage and boneless chicken. He then begins to cook the meat. Bayako, Hariri, and Shiwaruan watch as the blonde seasons the meat. Naruto turns to the medical ninja. When do you have to be at work? Asked Naruto. Shizen hums to herself as she drinks the warm coffee. She then turns towards Naruto. 8:15, said Shizen. He looks at the kitchen cook then back at her. It's 7:20, said Naruto, shocking Shizen, who just stood frozen for a whole minute. She quickly got up, freaking out. Oh Kami, I'm going to be late. I have to leave now, exclaimed a very frantic manner. Naruto sighs at the frantic woman. He couldn't really blame her, especially with Tsunade's very short temper. It didn't take much to set the woman off. He never understood how Jiraiya could fall for such a brute of a woman, but then again he never cared why Jiraiya loved her. It mattered little to why his godfather had kept trying to get with her. If he wanted to waste his life chasing after a woman who doesn't want him, then he'll leave it alone. After all, it isn't his business. He quickly stops his train of thought. He quickly creates a clone. I'll take you to Hokage Tower, said Naruto. What, really? You'll do that? How? Asked Shizen. He grabs hold of her shoulder. Hold still, said Naruto. She looks at him with a questionable, but she complies with him. A yellow light blocks her sight. She looks around in confusion. 1 second she was in his kitchen, and the next thing she knew they were in front of the office. She then turns towards Naruto. Her eyes went wide in shock. Wait, that was the Flying Thunder God technique, Hiraishin no Jutsu, mumbled Shizen. Yes, there were only 2 people who master it. The first was the creator Tobirama Senju and my father, and now there's me, said Naruto. Shizen looks at Naruto with an awestruck. She couldn't believe someone who was so young was so skilled. Naruto really was something. You're amazing, Naruto, said Shizen with a bright smile. Thanks, last night was fun. How about we try it again without you being completely smashed? Asked Naruto with a smile. Shizen's cheeks gain a light red blush. She then begins playing with her kimono. I'd like that, said a shy Shizen. I can't believe it. Did Naruto really ask me out? Thought Shizen. He then waves her off. I'll see you next time, Shizen, said Naruto, who begins walking off. Have a good day, exclaimed Shizen. Naruto turns his head and smiles at her. She then enters the office. Usually she would be dreading the stressful day that Tsunade would put her through, but she can't help but to think about Naruto and the many surprises that he'll unleash. Naruto's smile is then replaced with a stoic expression. There's still much I need to do. I still need to find out who used Kyuubi to attack the village. If only the fox would tell me, this would be a lot easier. Damn Juve, and unfortunately, most people who saw the person was killed that night, but I do know this, he was an Uchiha, a strong one. Damn that clan. They've caused me nothing but more annoyance. This is your fault, Sabutobi. If only you had died that night, then mother and father would be alive and probably have an idea who released Kyuubi from my mother. Ugh, I'd rather not learn that jutsu, but if Itachi proves to know nothing, I'll have no choice but to learn that jutsu, thought Naruto. Naruto then makes his way to a weapon shop. After gathering the proper weapons, he then makes his way to the empty streets. The blonde then clocks his tongue. You must be a real fool, commented Naruto. He then quickly unsheathed Ryueisen and swings his blade, which comes in contact with the pale teen's tanto. He glares at the teen's emotionless eyes. You must be from Danzo's root, said Naruto. The boy hums to himself. You're stronger than I expected, trailed the man. Jumps back. I've heard you were weak, said the man. He then charges at Naruto, who blocks his attacks. Naruto deflects another strike. He then open palms the man in the chest. He then kicks the man in the stomach, causing him to land on his ass. Naruto glares at the man. Whatever information your pathetic master had was wrong, said Naruto. He watches as the root member gets up. Now tell me why the Warhawk ordered you to attack me, demanded Naruto, but the emotionless man charges at him, causing Naruto to scoff at the man's scum, muttered Naruto. He throws Ryueisen in the air. He then kicks the blade into the man's knee, causing the man to hit the ground. Naruto runs at the teen with a scalpel and stabs the man in the shoulder. It's no use in moving, said Naruto. He then yanks the sword out and grabs hold of him. The two vanished in a yellow flash. As Tsunade had just gotten through the second mountain of paperwork, Naruto, and the teen appears right in front of her, shocking her. She stares in shock. Naruto. Sai. What are you doing here? Exclaimed Tsunade. He attacked me, or tried to, said Naruto. Now who is Sai? I know he didn't graduate from the academy, states Naruto. Tsunade sighs at Naruto. She knew she couldn't blame him. It's not like the blonde puppeteer goes out looking for trouble. He's one of Danzo's root agents, said Tsunade. Is that so? Questioned Naruto. He watches as the elder blonde simply nods her head. Very well, said Naruto. He then jams the scalpel into the back of Sai as he holds the man's head, stopping him from moving. As Sai finally dies, he drops the diseased body. Why you killed him? Asked Tsunade, glaring at Naruto. You said it yourself, and you said it yourself. He was Danzo's ninja, meaning that Sai isn't a registered ninja of the village. He also attacked me. Tsunade will kill anyone who poses a threat to the village, and also tells Danzo if he sends another one of his puppets, I'll them and anyone he sends. I don't fear him and I have no problem with killing him, said Naruto with conviction. Tsunade sighs. She then turns at the photos of the past. Kage, time skip, location, Tenchi Bridge. Kakashi, Shizen, and Yamato watch Naruto, who's inside the Hiriko puppet. Yamato turns at his Anbu-senpai. Kakashi, are you sure this is a smart decision? Asked Yamato as he watches Naruto talk with Kabuto. In most cases, I would have to agree with you, but Naruto isn't the same boy he was, said Kakashi. He couldn't fault Yamato for being suspicious for allowing him to do such a dangerous task. Yeah, so I've heard. We just gotta be prepared for anything that might happen, states Yamato. Both Kakashi and Shizen nods in agreement. You made sure you weren't followed? Asked Naruto. Kabuto nods his head. Yes, of course. Sasori-sama, by the way, regarding the orders you gave me, Sasori-sama? Asked Kabuto. Naruto hums interest. You speak of the jutsu Orochimaru uses to swap bodies, states Naruto. Kabuto nods his head in agreement, pleased with the response. After transferring to his new body, Orochimaru used a barrier jutsu to protect his former vessel. I was unable to retrieve cell samples from it, explained Kabuto. Naruto glares at Kabuto with a hardened stare. That is unfortunate, Kabuto. I expect a sample the next time we meet. Understood, growled Naruto, who isn't pleased with Kabuto. Yes, of course. But I can't afford to be here any longer. Give me the item if you pleased. I will be killed if I am seen with you, states Kabuto. He extends his hand out. Naruto nods his head. Yes, of course, said Naruto. He digs into his cloak and pulls out a red scroll that has a picture of a scorpion. Orochimaru appears behind of Kabuto, shocking Kabuto, not expecting him to be here. Naruto glares at Orochimaru. You seem to be having a very interesting conversation. I think I'll join in, grinned Orochimaru, who sends his snakes to attack Kabuto, but the white net avoids the snakes and appears next to Naruto. Kabuto narrowed his eyes at the serpent. Man, this isn't good. We wasted too much time, said Kabuto. Orochimaru grins at Naruto in a sadistic manner. Ah, Sasori, seeing you like this takes me back, said the snake Sannin. From the bushes, each jounin looks tense as Shizen narrows her eyes at Orochimaru. He's been here the whole time watching from afar, said Shizen. Kakashi nods his head. It seems like it, said Kakashi. He then turns at Yamato. If you see Naruto using Kyuubi's chakra, I want you to step in, ordered Kakashi. Yamato nods his head. You've been here the whole time, said Naruto. He knew with Orochimaru here he's going to be the one to fight the Sannin. What's with that tone? I simply wish to thank you. To develop a new jutsu I would need hundreds of bodies to experiment on, but thanks to him I can use one countless time. Which helps, considering how tough it is getting test subjects, grinned Orochimaru. Naruto quickly blocks Kabuto chakra scalpel with his scorpion tail. Naruto uses his chakra threads to open Hiriko's mouth. Sensing the danger, Kabuto replaces himself with a log and appears next to his master. Naruto turns his eyes to Kabuto, then to Orochimaru. You released him from my jutsu, states Naruto. Kabuto smiles in a sly manner. Yes, Orochimaru-sama had dispelled the jutsu for a while. I was simply waiting for the tone moment to kill you, Sasori, but it seems that task won't be as simple as I believe, grinned Kabuto. Naruto mentally sighs. He then glares at the two. Naruto then opens Hiriko up, and jumping out of the puppet, both Orochimaru and Kabuto stare in shock. Seeing as you weren't under the effect of Shisho's jutsu, it's time to end this charade of ours, said Naruto. He then gives the signal. Kakashi, Yamato, and Shizen come from the forest. Kabuto looks at Naruto in amusement. By the way, this spoke, it seems like you were trained by Sasori. How pitiful, it seems like he wasted his time on trash like you, said Kabuto. Kukuku, why have you come out here to bring Sasuke-kin back? How very sad. Living in the past, that is the difference between the two of us. I seek to move forward, grinned Orochimaru. Naruto then takes out a large scroll. God, you two are fucking annoying. I don't give a damn what either of you two thinks. The only thing I want is the information on where Uchiha is, said Naruto. And what makes you think I will tell you anything? Questioned Orochimaru. Simple, I'll just have to force it out of you. If die in the process, then I'll just get what I want from Kabuto, said Naruto in a cold tone. He is then covered in a cloud, causing everyone to be on high alert. Once the cloud vanished, 4 puppets appear surrounding Naruto. These puppets are Sasori, Deidara, Sandaime Kazekage, and Mokushiroku. Both Sandaime Kazekage and Mokushiroku opens their mouths. Black sand is released from the Sandaime Kazekage, while Mokushiroku released red grains of rust. Thousand hands manipulation force, Senju Sobu, exclaimed Naruto. He then commands each wooden hand to pound into the Sannin, causing the man to be sent flying. He then commands several of the wires to shoot out, wrapping themselves around him. He then launches the kunai wires at Orochimaru, piercing his limbs. The Sandaime Kazekage then spins Orochimaru. He then releases the detachments, causing Orochimaru to be flung into the trees. Naruto shunshin into the middle of forest. Orochimaru walks out of the woods and grins at Naruto. Well, it seems you aren't the same child after all. But you still are no match for me, Naruto, said Orochimaru. He then dashes towards Naruto quickly. The Sandaime creates a sword. Orochimaru blocks the sword with his own Kusanagi. Sasori then flies above Orochimaru and release a torrent of fire. Naruto quickly pulls both back to him. He watches as Orochimaru sheds his burnt skin. He then punches his fist into the ground. Two large snakes wrap around Naruto. You may have put up quite a fight, but you are nothing like Sasuke-kun. Now die, Naruto! Roared Orochimaru. The Sannin stretch out his neck and summons his sword, but before he could stab Naruto in the heart, Sasori's coil wrapped around his neck. His yellow eyes went wide in shock as the snakes wrapped around Naruto begins to decay. Doubled Hydra formation technique. Hidora Beizo no Jutsu. Mumbled Naruto. Two clay doubled-headed snakes rise from the ground and wraps themselves around Orochimaru in a tight grip. Both clay figures explode, blowing Orochimaru back as the smoke clears. Everyone stares in shock at the bloody and burnt Orochimaru. You damn brat! How dare you do this to me? I am the immortal Orochimaru! Growled Orochimaru. He once again uses his shedding jutsu. He uses the tiger, boar, rat, dog, and ram. He then claps his hands together and takes in a deep breath. Wind release, vacuum, tempest wave, futon, shinku tenpa sudoha! Exclaimed Orochimaru. He then expels a wide blast of wind. Water release, flight of obliterating water, suetun, Mizue Kasahiko, said Naruto. Two pipes come out of Sasori's palm. He then spins both hands in a high-powered speed. Huge blasts of water are released from the pipes. Both water and wind collide, each trying to overcome the other. The Deidara puppet extends both hands at Orochimaru. Two compartments are released from the wrist. Explosive chaining paper ring, Bakurensa pepperingu. Mumbled Naruto. 4 kunai explosive tags are released from the arm. Shooters suddenly puff of smoke covers them. Orochimaru stares in shock as the kunai now have 20 explosive tags. He quickly substitutes himself with a snake. Orochimaru appears behind him and kicks him in the back. Naruto unsheathed his sword, both blades meeting each other. Naruto glares at Orochimaru, while the Sannin grins at Naruto. That's your mother's sword, is it not? I can reunite you two once you're dead. Grinned Orochimaru. Over a dozen snakes are released from his sleeve, biting the blonde, who snarls in pain. Kabuto, who is fighting Kakashi, and Shizen smile in a sly manner. Turn his head. Well, look at this. It seems Naruto was all talk. Grinned Kabuto. Kakashi's eyes stare in shock. What? No, his can't be! Exclaimed Kakashi. No! Naruto! Mumbled Shizen as she watches Orochimaru stab Naruto in the chest. Rust release, needle snare, Seton, Nidorasunia! Yelled Naruto. He watches as Naruto turns into clay. Rust needles then pierced into Orochimaru's legs. The clay figure explodes, taking his arm. This causes the man to scream in pain. He then hears a familiar sound. He looks above him and sees Naruto holding a bright red Rasengan. He quickly unhinges his jaw, sending hundreds of snakes. Scorch release, Rasengan, Shikuten, Rasengan! Roared Naruto. His Rasengan burns the snakes away and the burning sphere and slammed into his face. He then uses the black sand to lift Orochimaru in the air. Orange secret technique, Dance of Blades, Orange Hiji, Fuji no Mai! Whispered Naruto. Sasori gains a gauntlet blade, while Deidara has razor blade nails, each dipped in poison. The Sandaime Kazekage and Mokashiroka gains numerous blades on their left arm. Deidara slashes his blade against Orochimaru's back. Sasori slashes him across the chest. He then wrapped the coil around Orochimaru's neck. He slams the man against the hard ground. He then tosses him in the air. All four jumps in the air, stabbing their blades into him. Sasori then grabs him by the mouth, nearly crushing his bottom jaw. He then slams Orochimaru into the ground. A Fuinjutsu circle appears on the ground. The Fuinjutsu writing makes its way into his skin. Uzumaki sealing technique, Dragon's nesting formula, Uzumaki Fuinjutsu, Rugageto no Irikoshiki. You've grown weak, Orochimaru. I could simply turn you into a puppet, but then I'll have to look at your ugly face. So, I do what Sabutobi couldn't, said Naruto. He then commands Puppet to surround the Sannin. Orange secret technique, Black blood of Whirlpool, Orange Hiji, Kakutsu no Yuzu, said Naruto. He then uses the boar hand signs. 10 small clay turtles rise from the ground. Each turtle explodes, sinking Orochimaru further into the ground. He then commands Sasori to use his buzzsaw blades to cut each of Orochimaru's nerves in his limbs, causing him to fall to his knees. He then uses both the black sand and rust release to piece through Orochimaru's limbs. I'm sure I don't have to tell you about the poison in the black sand, and I'm sure you've noticed the rust release decays anything it touches. All that borrowed time you've had is finally used up. I told I would kill you, Orochimaru. You can't escape death this time. You're dead, you just don't realize it yet. All those people you've killed, all those lives you ruined for your pathetic dream of immortality, and now you are going to die for all the pain you have caused, exclaimed Naruto, glaring at the man with hate. No, I won't die too, some trash likes of you. I am Orochimaru, you are nothing but a failure, roared Orochimaru. He then stretched out and unhinged his jaw, ready to rip out Naruto's throat, but Naruto uses one of his chakra strings to pull Kusanagi into his hand. He then stabs Orochimaru through the neck with his own sword. Orochimaru coughs up blood, staining his teeth with his very own blood. How poetic! The very sword you've used to kill many people have now killed you, said Naruto. He then unsheathed Ryueisen, and with both swords he decapitates Orochimaru. He then seals away each of his puppets and Orochimaru's body. He then makes his way back to the bridge and sees Kabuto with several bruises and blood dripping from the side of his face. He's also trapped in wooden handcuffs. Naruto points his new weapon at Kabuto's neck. Now you're going to take us to your hideout, or die, ordered Naruto, glaring at Kabuto. The glasses-wearing medic sighs at knowing he's outnumbered and trapped. He also didn't want to take his chances. If Naruto's poisons were anything like Sasori's, then he knew the chances of him making an antidote was nearly impossible. Not only that, but if he tried to make a move, Kakashi, Yamato, and Shizen will simply kill him where he stood. Ugh, fine, I'll take you, said Kabuto in a defeated tone. Naruto seals away Kusanagi. Smart, a wise decision, Kabuto. Are you guys ready to move on? Asked Naruto. Each of them nods in agreement. Yamato smiles at Naruto. That was amazing, Naruto. Tsunade-sama wasn't joking, saying you were a powerful puppet master. I'm sure you will rise in ranks in no time, said a prideful Yamato. Kakashi nods in agreement. Even he was impressed with how his student fought. Shizen looked at Naruto with a concerned look. Are you alright? You're not injured? Asked Shizen. Even though he killed Orochimaru, she was still worried if the Sannin had done something to Naruto. No, I'm fine. Fighting him wasn't that difficult since he was weakened, said Naruto. Shizen smiles at this. Time skip. Once they arrived at the hideout, they each decided to split up to look for anything useful, while Naruto was given a task with finding Sasuke Uchiha. With Naruto being the strongest of the group, it decided he would find Sasuke since he was the only one capable of fighting Sasuke. Kabuto narrows his eyes at Naruto. What do you hope to accomplish once you meet Sasuke? Asked Kabuto. If I was you, I'd be more worried about yourself, said Naruto. He then grabs Kabuto by the neck. Now to fix what Orochimaru did. You are valuable, more alive than dead, especially with everything you know. Memory concealing manipulative sand technique, Seno Sosa no Jutsu, said Naruto. He watches as Kabuto gains a dull look. Now take me to his room, Kabuto, ordered Naruto. Yes, of course, Naruto-sama, follow me, said Naruto, with Kabuto leading Naruto to Sasuke's room. He looks at everything around with his narrowed. He glares at each room he passes. If I'm right, then this must be the hideout where he trains Uchiha, and where he does his experiments. With Kabuto under my control, I now have all the information on his bases, which means I can track them down and destroy them, thought Naruto. Why bother, I say, let me take control and kill all your enemies. Do it. Take off the seal, Naruto, and allow all your pain to fade away, said Kyuubi, grinning within his cage. Shut it, Kyuubi, thought Naruto, with his eyes narrowing in annoyance. The one thing he didn't need right now was Kyuubi's rant of freedom. He needed to focus on the task at hand. He honestly wondered how his mother and Mito handled the Buick, but he didn't have time to worry about the angry creature. I didn't need your help with Orochimaru, and I don't need it with Uchiha. Hell, I won't need when I get what I want from Itachi, thought Naruto with a hardened glare. Suit yourself, boy. But it's only a matter of time before you use my chakra, said Kyuubi with a wide smirk on his furry face showing his razor-sharp fangs. He knew when the time came Naruto will be banging on his cage. It's only a matter of time. Just like all humans, they hunger for power, and he knew his jailer was no exception. The two then comes to a stop at a door. Kabuto nods his head at Naruto. The blonde turns towards Kabuto. Stay here and make sure Kakashi doesn't try to get in the way, ordered Naruto. The white net nods his head. Naruto enters the room and sees Sasuke sitting down. He glares at the traitor. Uchiha, it's been a while, said Naruto. Naruto, what are you doing here? I hope it's not to bring me back to the village. I told you I'm not returning to that village, said Sasuke with his own glare. Naruto then unsheathed Ryueis and return you to the village? No, I'm here to kill your trash, and this time no one will stand in my way. Haruno isn't here to stop me, said Naruto with a snarl. Sasuke unsheathed his sword. And what makes you think you could ever kill me? If you couldn't beat me last time, then you can't beat me now. If you continue to get in my way, I'll kill you, states Sasuke. Same old arrogant piece of trash. News flash, I was holding back because of the request of Sasori Shisho, but I passed his test, so the Naruto you knew was nothing but a mask. I've always hated you, Uchiha. Actually, I never once considered you a friend. You're more of a nuisance, always wanting to prove you're better than everyone, but that is far from the truth. You couldn't beat Lee or Gaara. You even needed that curse mark to beat that Oto ninja in the Chunin exam. You couldn't even defeat Haku, and you needed the curse mark to beat me. You are no prodigy. Itachi, Kakashi, my father, and Shisui were prodigies. You are nothing but a child chasing after your brother. You two really are alike, both being traitorous trash, said Naruto, glaring at his former teammate with nothing but scorn. Both Uzumaki and Uchiha vanished. The two of them reappeared in the middle of the room with both clashing weapons glaring at each other. Sasuke creates a Chidori while Naruto created a Rasengan. Once both attacks collide, the two attacks cause a chain reaction, destroying everything in the room. The two jumps back. Sasuke throws shuriken at Naruto. The blonde shinobi channels wind chakra through his sword and slices through the shuriken. Sasuke the unleashed a Chidori spear. TSK. How predictable. Wind release. Twister Fang Saber. Futon. Tsusuda Fiba, said Naruto. Ho's miniature twister blade cuts through Sasuke's Chidori spear and stabs him in the shoulder. Naruto vanished in a yellow flash and kicks him in the gut, sending him at the wall, leaving a web pattern. The Uchiha coughed out blood. You really are an idiot. Did Orochimaru teach you nothing? Wind overcomes lightning. Uchiha, insulted Naruto. Sasuke growls in anger. He then shots out a large fireball at Naruto. Naruto raised his right and Uzumaki seal appears on his palm. Uzumaki sealing technique. Element absorption technique. Uzumaki Fuinjutsu. Genso Kyushu no Jutsu. Said Naruto. He watches as the fireball is absorbed, leaving Sasuke bewildered. Ahaha, don't look surprised. Just as you're skilled with Genjutsu, Shuriken, and fire release, I'm a prodigy when it comes to Fuinjutsu. Even that curse mark that used to be on your neck is nothing compared to my own curse seal. Grinned Naruto in a dark manner. Uzumaki unsealing technique. Supreme Dragon Rage. Uzumaki Keifu no Jutsu. Reweko no Ikari. Said Naruto. An Uzumaki unsealing formula appeared on his palm. A large blue dragon is released, crashing into Sasuke and sent him through the wall. The explosion was so powerful it shook the very hideout. Naruto sees Sasuke on his hands and knees, panting. Done already? How sad. What would your worthless mother say? Taunted Naruto. Sasuke snarls at Naruto, throwing two large demon windmills. He then pulls both strings, causing the weapons to detach. Naruto scoffed at this. He then holds Ryueisen in a reverse grip. Uzumaki sword technique. White Whirlpool. Uzumaki Kenjutsu. Shiroi Yuzu. Muttered with incredible speed, he performs a 360 spin and performs 5 high-speed slashes. Each slash destroyed the weapons and scared the room. Sasuke grips his shoulder, which had been slashed. Even with his Sharingan, he couldn't prepare himself when Naruto appeared in front of him. Naruto then cuts Sasuke on the cheek with a kunai. What was that supposed to do? Asked Sasuke with a smirk, but he grabs his face in pain. He then noticed everything begins to get blurry. You poisoned me? Asked Sasuke. He then falls to the ground. Yes, it's something I've been working on for quite some time. You can feel it, can't you? Your eyesight beginning to fade. That's my poison. It attacks the victim's eyes, then the brain. I designed it to personally attack dojutsu users. Tell me? How does it feel to know everything you've worked so hard will be stopped here? Said Naruto. He then kicks Sasuke in the face. He then grabs him by the hair and slams his face into the ground. Sasuke attempts to reach his sword, but Naruto cuts off his hand and kicks Sasuke in the ribs. You honestly think I cared about you, Kakashi, or Haruno? I've never intended to fulfill that promise, and why should I care about a promise to a stupid little bitch? The only thing I wanted to see these past years and is you and Orochimaru dead at my feet. Snarled Naruto. He then stomps on Sasuke's chest, enjoying his painful screams. But I'll let you on a secret. The Uchiha clan were not as loyal as the village wants you to believe. Your clan was planning a coup and your father was in charge. Shursui was supposed to use his Sharingan stopping the coup, but Danzo took his eye and killed him. The elders ordered Itachi to kill every member of the clan except you. He begged them to let you live. He killed his parents, friends, and children, but not you. Don't worry, you see your failure of a father soon. Said Naruto. He then summons Kusanagi and slowly buries the sword in Sasuke's gut. With the fighting over, he hears the footsteps come to a halt. Each of the Jounin stares in shock. And Naruto, what have you done? Stuttered Kakashi. Naruto stares at Kakashi with a cold stare. I killed a traitor. This was his fate. The moment he decided to join Orochimaru, he became a traitor to the village. Death is the fate to everyone who abandons their village. He wanted revenge on Itachi, and would do anything including becoming a rogue ninja just like Itachi. All rogue ninjas must be eliminated. I do not share your weakness. States Naruto. Kakashi looks down in shame, blaming himself at how Naruto ended up and the death of Sasuke. Sasuke running away had been one of his biggest mistakes, but as right now Naruto becoming this cold and calculating person is feeling like it is his fault. If only I was there for you, thought Kakashi. The Jounin turns towards Naruto and sees him sealing away the body. Yamato turns towards Naruto. Congratulations Naruto, you took down Orochimaru and stopped Sasuke Uchiha from becoming a threat to the village. You completed this mission without it getting out of hand, said Yamato with a smile in his face. Shizen turns towards Naruto with a worried look. Are you alright? Asked Shizen. She stared at him in awe. Not only had he managed to kill 3 S-rank rogue ninjas, but was able to do it at the age of 15. You really are amazing Naruto, thought Shizen with a light blush. Naruto turns towards the Ravenet. I'm fine, he wasn't a match for me. TSK. The Uchiha clan is really pathetic. Then again, they are nothing but scum and this leaves only Itachi. Let's go Kabuto, keep yourself out of sight unless I say otherwise, ordered Naruto. Kabuto nods his head and shunts in away, heading towards the Kusagakure hideout. Time skip. Tsunade narrows her eyes at seeing Naruto holding the Kusanagi blade. Even Sakura was shocked at seeing him wielding the deadly blade. Tsunade would always tell her how dangerous the blade was and the poison the blade carries, but the one thing that worried Sakura, where was Sasuke? Her crush. Team 7 report, ordered the female Kage. Hi, mission complete Senju. I killed Orochimaru and I placed a mind-washing jutsu on Kabuto, making him my spy, said Naruto. Tsunade raised an eyebrow at the mention of Kabuto being Naruto's spy. She guesses this was the same jutsu Sasori used to have spies in other villages. She watches as Naruto pulls out 2 scrolls and these scrolls contains the bodies of Orochimaru and Sasuke Uchiha, said Naruto. Tsunade stares at Naruto with a shocked expression. Naruto, you bastard, yelled Sakura. She aims at his face with a right hook, but Naruto casually avoids the punch. The pinknet quickly finds herself immobilized by a large snake puppet. You stupid bitch, after he left to join Orochimaru, do you really believe Senju wouldn't throw him in jail or put him to death? Why do you even like him? He has never shown interest in you or complimented you. Then again, you were a pathetic genin. said Naruto. He called my forehead pretty, said Sakura. Naruto released his hold on her, causing her to hit the ground. Naruto then smirks at her. He called your forehead pretty? You really are an idiotic girl. I bet that memory on the bench is really special to you, states Naruto. Sakura looks at him in shock. I hinged into him that day, said Naruto. WHWH what why? Mumbled a tearful-eyed Sakura. Naruto shrugged his shoulders. Simple. I wanted to see the look on your face of the one moment of Sasuke when he was nice was nothing but a fake. And I must say it was worth seeing that expression, said Naruto. That's cruel. How could you? Exclaimed a crying Sakura. Cruel? What the hell would you know anything about cruel? How can someone like you who lived with both parents and a happy childhood know anything about cruel? You know nothing about the cruel world, Haruno. If you ever try to avenge Uchiha, I'll end you. Unlike me, you are not important to the village, said Naruto. Sakura looks down in sadness. She then turns towards Tsunade. Tsunade turns towards Sakura with a serious expression. Sakura, control your emotions. This is not the time, not place for this teenage drama. Naruto is right. The moment Sasuke aligned himself with Orochimaru, he marked himself as a traitor, says Tsunade, causing Sakura to look down at her feet. Tsunade turns to Naruto with a proud smile. Naruto had done something she and many wanted to do. He even stopped Sasuke from becoming a threat. Congratulations, Naruto, you completed this mission flawlessly. Not many can say they've killed 3 S-rank missing ninjas, says Tsunade. The blonde bows his head to her. Thank you, Senju. Now the village has 2 fewer threats to worry about, says Naruto. He did promise himself he would kill any who betrayed the village. But there's still the Naruto of the curse marks. But fortunately, he had developed a seal to destroy all curse marks. He couldn't allow Orochimaru to return. He would only get in his way. All he needed to do was find Anko. The Akatsuki still has its much stronger members. I'm still not ready for pain yet. For now, I'll go after Itachi, Kisame, and Kakuzo, thought Naruto. Itachi does have some answers and Naruto has no problem torturing Itachi. He'll make sure he ends the Uchiha clan. Keep the good work, team. Kakashi dismiss, says Tsunade. Kakashi, Yamato, and Naruto shun Shin away. She then turns to Shizen. That means you two, you've earned it, says Tsunade. The black-haired Jounin nods her head and heads out the room, leaving Tsunade and Sakura alone. While Tsunade talked to her apprentice, Naruto's mind is occupied by recent events, more so of him killing Sasuke. He doubts it will be long before the village and Itachi to find out. Ever since he was taken in by Sasori, he had to hide his true self and hide behind an idiotic mask. But now he no longer needs to hide behind the mask. It felt good telling Sakura about his prank, and seeing the look on her face was worth it. The mere idea of him finding Sakura attractive was disgusting. She is weak and useless. Even Ino is a little bit more useful than his teammate. To Naruto, Sakura and Ino were the most useless ninjas around his age. Even Kiba and Choji were more useful than those 2 idiotic girls. Then again, he always hated the 2. Naruto narrowed his eyes as he senses an Umbu nearby. What do you want? Says Naruto. An Umbu with a bear mask jumps in front of the blonde puppet master. The Umbu ignores Naruto's cold tone. Danzo-sama and the advisors wish to see you, says Bear. Naruto gains a gleam in his eye. Fine, take to the relics, said Naruto. The Umbu nods his head, placing his hand on Naruto's shoulder. The Umbu misty on Naruto's face. The 2 are then Shunshin. In a room sitting across from him is Koharu, Hamura, and Danzo. Naruto glares at the old people. What do you want? I'm busy, demanded Naruto, releasing a snarl at them. They decided to ignore his comment. We've heard that you killed Orochimaru and Sasuke? Asked Koharu, her aged eyes glances at Kusanagi that is attached to his waist. The 3, they had always believed Hiruzen had failed the village when he allowed Orochimaru to escape. Yes, I did. I did what Sarutobi failed and couldn't do, but I know that's not why you called me here, said Naruto. You are correct, Naruto. While we are impressed with your recent success with your missions, you have shown the true attributes of a proper shinobi. It had seemed being trained by that Sunagekyo traitor had really paid off, says Hamura. Naruto stares at him with a cold expression, hiding his hatred for the old man. He never did like it when people talked down about his sensei/father figure, but he knew he couldn't allow his emotions to show. Koharu turns to the young puppet master. Which is why we have discussed it, and we want you to train the ninjas in puppetry with those types of puppet. Konoha will be the strongest, says Koharu. Naruto lets out a sigh and runs his hand through his spiky locks. You 3 really are foolish idiots, says Naruto. Koharu and Hamura stare in shock. Even Danzo wasn't expecting such a response from Naruto. You've decided TSK. You 3 are advisors. You don't have the power to give me orders. If I said no to Senju, what you think I would say yes to you relics? I don't know how the other shinobi operate, but I don't answer to you 3. Then again, I would never take orders from those weaker than me, says Naruto in a tone of authority. Each of the elders glare at him, but he pays them no mind. He sets his eyes on Danzo. His cold eyes meet Danzo's. Then again, only a weak-minded fool would follow a scum like you. The arrogance you 3 have is almost funny. You believed you are above everyone, but the truth is you 3 are nothing but a waste of life. Mocked Naruto. From the shadows, Danzo's elite guards Fu and Torian appear ready to kill Naruto. A huge cloud explodes, blocking their vision. The old ninjas hear the sound of grunts and bodies hitting the ground. As the cloud clears away, they can see Naruto's snake puppet Danyoku in front of him, with both Fu and Torian laying on the floor dead, with their skin becoming a sickly purple. If I remember correctly, Sarutobi ordered you to disband your route, You not only disobey his order to disband it, but you even order them to kill me, a ninja of the village, and you two didn't even look surprised. As such, I have no choice but to kill you three, says Naruto. Danyoku releases a purple gas from its mouth. I wouldn't use any chakra unless you want your death to be more painful, says Naruto. He watches as the three elders fan to their knees coughing. Koharu's eyes begin to bleed. She then throws up blood. She looks up at Naruto with a strained look. But he'll be poisoned too, exclaimed Koharu. TSK, what kind of puppet master would I be if I allow my poisons to kill me? In case you forgot, I am an Uzumaki and Jinchuriki, says the blonde with a switch of a finger. Danyoku flies at Danzo, sinking its poison into him in a gold flash. Naruto is in front of Danzo before he can even say anything. Kusanagi implanted in his gut. He then removes the bandages on his face and rips Shirsui's eye out. I'll be taking this, and I wouldn't try using those Sharingan eyes. I injected you with the same poison that I used on Sasuke, says Naruto. It only took a few seconds for the elders to die. He then opens a window, allowing the poisonous gas to vanish. He then creates a clone, handing it a scroll. He then looks at the legendary eye with a smirk. This eye will be far more useful with me, says Naruto. Time skip 3 hours later. Within the Hokage Tower, each of the head clans, Jounin Sensei, and their students are staring in confusion except Naruto, but he kept his mouth shut. Kidnapping, disobeying a law made by the Hokage, brainwashing, aligning with traitors and enemies of the village, threatening fellow ninjas, an illegal experiment, says Tsunade, seeing she has their attention. This is only a number of things Danzo, Koharu, and Hamura had done over the decades. I'm sure you would also like to. You they are dead, says Tsunade, shocking. Many of the older generations were happy about the death of Danzo. A few hours ago they had threatened a fellow ninja. As I said, their plan to kill said ninja had failed. I would like to thank Naruto Uzumaki for ending these threats to the village, says Tsunade. Every ninja begins chatting among themselves. They took a chance to glance at Naruto, who just sat in silence. Thank you, Naruto. You have surpassed the expectations of the village. And you being a genin is just insulting. I Tsunade send you, the Godane, promote Naruto Uzumaki to the rank of Jounin, says Tsunade. Many of the ninjas who actually talk to him cheer and scream in happiness. Many of the ninjas smiled at Naruto for always knowing he would be a great ninja. Naruto has a small smirk on his tan skin. Everything coming together. It won't be long before I'm the Hokage, thought Naruto. He then bows at the blonde woman. Thank you, Hokage. I won't make you regret your choice, says the blonde. Tsunade smiles at him, taking his word. I'm sure you won't dismiss, ordered Tsunade. Some of the ninjas headed back home, and the others went to congratulate him, while Naruto is surrounded by people he doesn't care for, and the people he simply hates. Naruto ignores the people within his mind. He stares at Kyuubi with a neutral expression, while Kyuubi's eyes glare at him with scorn. What are you doing here, boy? Shouldn't you be celebrating with your disgusting friends? Your plan is going nicely, growled the fox. You know damn well I don't care about them. I need answers, and only you can give them. The people of my village can't be trusted. They just lie and try to lead me in a circle, said Naruto. After all, they didn't tell him about his other, who was just a Jounin, or the fact that he belongs to a powerful clan of seal masters. Kyuubi glares at the boy with anger. Why I bother to help you, spawn of Minato? Snarled Kyuubi. If it wasn't bad, his jailer was the son of Kushina and Minato, but the blonde bastard had even learned both the Rasengan and Hiraishin. You were unsealed that night. Think about it. The Uchiha who unsealed you is still alive, and he was able to control you with his Sharingan, and fought my father and live. Whoever it is, they must be far stronger than even the leader, the Akatsuki and Itachi. This man has to die, growled Naruto. Kyuubi glares at Naruto. He hates the Uchiha clan, and an Uchiha with a powerful Sharingan is a bad thing. The large fox breaths out a large sigh. TSK, pun a human. But fine, we do have a common enemy, says Kyuubi. Naruto exits out of his mindscape. He looks around the room. He looks at familiar Ravenet woman. Naruto leads himself through the crowded group of people. As he reaches Shizen, he gains a small smile. She smiles warmly at him. Congratulations, Naruto. You're a Jounin now, says Shizen, beaming with a smile. She knew it was only a matter of time till he became a Jounin. She can't help but wonder if Naruto has always been this strong, and how long did it take him to get at this level. She then stares at him with a confused look. How come you aren't celebrating with your friends? asked Shizen. I'd rather not be around Ino or Kiba, says Naruto, causing the black-haired woman to look at him strangely. I find them annoying, says Naruto, causing Shizen to snicker at the blonde. Besides, I have work to do, says Naruto. It was clear to her Naruto was working on his puppets or seals. Before he could even consider leaving, she grabs hold of his hand, stopping him. He looks at her with a confused look. She looks down at her feet and blush. She then looks up at him with a cherry blush across her cheeks. I'll treat you to whatever you want. My treat, says Shizen, hoping he would take her offer. She just didn't want him to spend his promotion day alone and in his workshop. He is young after all, and he should celebrate. She understood there are some people in his age group he doesn't feel like dealing with. Some people from his age group. For her, dealing with Guy and Anko was always very taxing. Even dealing with her Hokage was very taxing. Naruto hums to himself, thinking it over. After a few seconds of silence, Naruto nods his head. He could have sworn he saw her eyes sparkle. A kimchi sushi bar at 6? asked Naruto. The petite woman nods her head with a smile. The two broke apart from each other and went on their way. Shizen went towards Kurenai and Anko, who was munching on a dango. Naruto heads to the exit but Tenten blocks his path and has an exciting look. Naruto looks at her with surprise. Can I see your puppets? Or one of them? Asks Tenten, trying her best to use the puppy dog look. He looks at her with a deadpan expression. Why? Don't need them broken, says Naruto. She puffs out her cheeks with a glare. I'm not going to break them. I'm not Lee, damn it. I just want to see how they work, grumbled Tenten. She then sighs and grumbles under her breath. I can help you and supply you with weapons half off, says Tenten. I'll agree, but I want regular and custom weapons free of charge, says Naruto. BB, but then I won't be making any profits, exclaims Tenten. The blonde shrugs his shoulders. Not my problem. Do you even have an idea the long process it takes for me? Besides, if I'm the one showing you my puppets, then I should be the one in charge, says Naruto. After all, not having Tenten's help won't affect him. Since Sasori taught him, he hadn't needed anyone help, but with the new ones he started on, it couldn't hurt to have the extra help. Ugh, fine, you win, said Tenten in a defeated tone. I usually do. See you tomorrow, said a smirking Naruto. He then takes his leave, causing Tenten to pout as she still wanted to talk to him. As he passes through each hallway, he vanished in a yellow flash, appearing in the deep woods. He then sits down on the stump. His eyes become cold as ice. Report, ordered Naruto. Kabuto jumps from the shadows and appears in front of him. I have collected information on these 3 individuals, says Kabuto, showing him a file of an orange-haired man, a red-haired girl, and a white-haired teen. Naruto looks at each photo with a bored expression. The orange-haired man is Yugo. He has a rare Kekkai Genkai. He's also the key ingredient in making the curse mark. The other one is Suigetsu. From his appearance alone you guess he's from Kirigakure. And the girl is Karen Uzumaki, a great sensory type, says Kabuto. Where? Demanded Naruto. Southern, western, and eastern hideouts. I also have information on the Akatsuki, says Kabuto. At the mention of the Akatsuki causes Naruto to tighten his fist. Naruto then motions for Kabuto to continue. Zetsu and a man with a spiral mask been sighted going towards Kumogakure. I assume they're going after the Nibi Jinchuriki, Yujitoni, said Kabuto. Naruto rise to his feet. Did you place my markers? Asked Naruto. Kabuto nods his head. Yes, Naruto-sama. I had various Odo spies leave your marker in each location, says Kabuto. Good, first we'll head towards the southern hideout, then we'll hunt down these bastards, growled Naruto with a scowl on his face. Finally its members have decided to show themselves. They might not be the members he wants to kill, but he'll kill them too. Be ready to move out, ordered Naruto. Hi, says Kabuto with a bow. Time skip. As the orange sky begins to set, Naruto, who's wearing a long-sleeve burgundy color shirt, over it he wears a black and red Hera jacket that has a cherry red floral pattern. He wears black fitting pants, black shinobi shoes. The blonde can be seen standing outside gazing at the faces of the mountain. Even as a young child he enjoyed staring at the faces. One day his face will be carved up there. His mind then begins to wander towards the new information. While he is interested in this Yugo person, he's more curious about this Karen Uzumaki. Was she kidnapped? Or did she join willingly like Sasuke and Kabuto? He had so many questions for her. He just hopes she isn't anything like Sakura or Ino. Hey Naruto, have you been waiting long? Asked Shizen as he turns his head and stares in awe at the beautiful Shizen, who is wearing a bright purple eyeliner that makes her eyes pop out more and a light pink lipstick. Shizen wears a short black kimono, which extends to mid-thigh, with a white nagajuban underneath. The sleeves of her kimono and the upper parts of the sleeves are puffed. She wears a traditional wide white obi and black kunoichi shoes. Beautiful, muttered Naruto. She had always looked cute in her usual kimono, but with her new kimono and makeup really brings out her hidden beauty. Shizen blushes at the comment. She looks up at Naruto with a deep blush. Thank you Naruto, you look handsome, mumbled Shizen. She had to admit red suited him far better than orange. Have you been waiting long? Asked Shizen, feeling quite nervous about this outing due to her quickly realizing that she asked out Naruto, who was still a teenager. Naruto smiles at his fellow jounin. He shook his head negatively. Nah, not for very long. So, you ready to go? Or I can stand here and take in the beauty, says Naruto with a smirk on his face. Shizen's face turns a deep scarlet color. She quickly looks at the ground, finding the very cracks to be the most interesting in the world. He extends his arm out. She then wraps her arm around his own. She then follows him towards the sushi bar. She takes a glance at him and notices his eyes don't seem as cold. Usually they seem a lot warmer. She could nearly get lost in his whirlpool eyes. She mentally kicks herself for having such thoughts, but knowing he did like older women did fill her stomach with butterflies. What am I doing? Acting like a teenager, thought Shizen. Even though she never had that much of a love life thanks to never staying in a place long enough, she had always wondered what would her life be if she never joined Tsunade. She really did envy her friend Kurenai, who was in a relationship with Asuma. Sure, it took them a long time to end up with each other, but at least they found each other. She also wondered how different it would be if her uncle had lived that day. Even now, living back in Konoha, there are only a few men who she would ever consider. While she did respect her Hokage, she didn't want to the same mistakes. After all, it is the sensei's job to make sure their student doesn't make the same mistake they did. Have you been here before? Asked Shizen as they step into the bar. They notice the restaurant is busy due to the news of Naruto killing Orochimaru, Sasuke, and traitorous elders. Each person congratulate Naruto. Some of the bussers bows at him a few times. The first time I was here when Shikamaru and Choji took me after I healed from the failed Sasuke mission, I like the food, says Naruto. Both of them are led to a table in the back. A waitress smiles at the blonde and Ravenet. Do the same thing as always? Asks the woman. Naruto nods his head and a bottle of sake. Says Naruto. The woman bows her head and heads to the kitchen to retrieve the bottle. Shizen shot him a curious look. What do you usually get? Asked Shizen. Naruto smirks at her with a cheeky grin. You'll see. Joked Naruto, causing her to giggle. As the waitress came with the alcohol, he takes a glance at some of the people and notices the fake smiles. This was nothing new to him. He knew most of the citizens wouldn't accept. He was fine if they never liked him. He will still be Hokage. Shizen noticed the cold, hateful look in his eyes. She placed her hand on his own, causing him to turn to her. Are you okay? Asked Shizen in a worried tone. He takes a sip from his cup. Nothing, just surrounded by idiots. Nothing new. I may have been gone for 3 years, but the idiots here are all the same. Says Naruto. He then refills his cup and takes another shot. You know, when I was a kid before Sasori Shisho found me, I used to want them to accept me. Says Naruto. How do you feel about them now? Asked Shizen. I don't give a damn about them. They can live a life of ignorance, for I care. Besides, Sasori Shisho had always believed the opinions of others have no power over you. It's you who decides who you become, only you, says Naruto. Shizen smiles at him. He sounds very wise. Says Shizen. She knew how much he admires Sasori, even more so than Hiruzen or Jiraiya. He was far more than Hiruzen ever was, says Naruto. The waitress comes back with a large plate full of sushi and fried tempura. He grabs a piece of sushi and dips it in soy sauce and takes a bite of the sushi, savoring the taste. Wanna know something funny about Sasori Shisho? There's a reason why he killed Sandaime Kazekage. The Kazekage had been responsible for conspiracy Hanzo along with trading information with Kumogakure. As you know, Suna ninjas are very loyal, and what the Sandaime did was unacceptable, so he killed him. Shisho told me when he a teenager he dreamed to fix the laws of Sunagakure. Did you know Sunagakure is the only village where the Kazekage isn't elected? Only people from the No clan can ever be elected. Their council is also corrupt. Said Naruto. He takes another shot. Shizen stares in shock at what she heard. She knew Sunagakure was strict, but hearing this was unexpected. She grabs hold of his hand and looks on in sadness. Sasori seems like he had a wonderful dream. Says Shizen. Even though his sensei had become a rogue ninja, the blonde still cares and admires him. Why did you want me to join your Sasuke retrieval mission? Asked Shizen, hoping to get his mind off of anything negative. Naruto eats another piece of sushi. Simple. Unlike Haruno, you aren't useless, and you don't allow your emotions to cloud your judgment. Plus Haruno would only get in the way like last time, and I just hate the dumb bitch. Says Naruto, downing the hot liquor. That's not nice, says Shizen as she playfully slaps his arm. So you don't think she or Ino are idiots for liking someone who doesn't give a shit about them? I mean, I'm sure he's a faggot. Joked Naruto. Shizen giggles at him. She can clearly remember when the two girls would always talk about Sasuke, and she thought both of them were selfish, only liking him about his looks and his cold exterior. Ever since her Shisho woke him up, she thought he was a selfish, spoiled brat. She also believes the other boys had better quality. He wasn't wrong. She did think he was gay. After all, how can you rebuild a clan if you have no interest in the opposite sex? I think their taste in men is questionable. But I do think Sasuke did play for the other team. Giggled Shizen, causing him to chuckle. She smiles brightly at him with rose-red cheeks. What? Asked Naruto. Shizen then gains a sincere smile, catching the teen off guard, not expecting to see such a true, kind smile. I like you like this, smiling, laughing. It really fits you. Says Shizen, giving him a million-watt smile. Naruto's cheeks turn red. His face then becomes a deeper red when her hand traces over his whispered cheeks. I always wondered what they felt like. Wondered Shizen as her nails run across his whiskers. Naruto then lets an audible purr, shocking the two. Naruto more so than Shizen. She pulls back before taking a huge shot. She and looks down at her hands. Sorry, I don't know what came over me. Apologized Shizen. The teen takes another shot of the warm sake. It's okay, when I was a kid I thought you were cute. Says Naruto. What do you think of me now? Asked a nervous Shizen. I think you're beautiful, says Naruto, causing her to blush. For the rest of the evening the two spent a good evening talking about various things and enjoying the food and liquor. The next day Naruto stands before Tsunade. All I request is to have Niji, Shino, Anko, and Shizen. They should be enough if we run into trouble. I doubt any of Orochimaru's men would give us any trouble, says Naruto. Fine, I'll allow you to search these hideouts and destroy them, ordered Tsunade. Naruto nods his head. I won't fail you, Hokage. I'll be in the front gate. Tell them this is an S-rank mission, said Naruto. He then vanished in a flash and appears at the gate. Luckily it only took a few minutes for them to arrive. Good, they're here. I'm sure Senju told you about the mission, correct? Asked Naruto. Each of them nods their heads. Good. There are some things that I left out, said Naruto, catching them off guard. Even Shizen stares at him with shock. The truth is, I had told me of 3 individuals who can be of use to the village. One of them is the key to the curse mark and the other is an Uzumaki. I also have been informed of 2 Akatsuki members are heading towards Kumo, and I plan on finding them and kill them. I know this could be considered suicide. If any of you don't feel confident about this, you can stay in the village, said Naruto. With the opportunity to see your true skills, I have to be a fool to turn away, says Niji with a confident smile. This will be our first on a mission with each other, so I'll join you as well, says Shino. Anko grins at him. Someone has to save your blonde ass, says Anko. Her eyes gleam at his swords. I'm with you as well, says Shizen. Right then, let's go, Ordered Naruto. The team heads off, traveling at high speed. Karen Uzumaki. From what I read, she has a rare ability that allows her to heal any injury. I wonder, does she know any Fuinjutsu? Thought Naruto. Time skip. Location: Northern Hideout. Naruto casually dodges a guard. He then holds Kusanagi in the reverse grip and slashes the man's stomach. The man falls to his knees holding stomach as blood leaks from his gut. Will split up. Each of you will search for anything of use. I'll look for Suigetsu, says Naruto. Be careful, Naruto. I still want a rematch, comments Niji. It's them who should be careful, states Naruto. He twirls both swords and shunshin. No matter who stood in his way, he easily cut them down, staining the blades in blood. They were nothing more than cattle to be slain. They were nothing but weak-minded fools. Pawns of Orochimaru. Well, dead pawns, just like their master. As he cuts down another man, he stares at a huge containing water. He smirks at the two. You must be Suigetsu Hozuki of Kirigakure, states Naruto. Suigetsu's face appears and glares at him. And you are? Questions Suigetsu. The white net takes notice of Kusanagi. Suigetsu then grins at Naruto. You're Naruto Uzumaki. Sasuke had told me about you, says Suigetsu. I'm sure that piece of shit has. I have a proposition for you, says Naruto. Suigetsu raises an eyebrow. I'll free you, but in return, you join Konoha. But of course, if you choose not to, I'll have no choice but to use this, said Naruto, pulling out a sealing paper, causing Suigetsu to glare at him. I'm a Fuinjutsu and puppet master, and this is my sealing technique. Ice release. Centipede's nightmare. Fuinjutsu Hayatan. Mukei no Akuma. Once activated, it traps its target in Sub-Zero Ice. Death by ice. What a harsh way to die. The choice is yours. Grinned Naruto. He senses the others, but he kept his focus on the sharp-teethed teen. Suigetsu lets out a defeated sigh. Not much of a choice, muttered Suigetsu. Glances behind Naruto and notices the people. Are you serious? He brought Enko, a Hyuga, and an Abirame. This is not my day, grumbled the Kiri native. Fine, I'll join Konoha, says Suigetsu. Naruto nods his head with a simple slash from his mother's Rivuazan with the glass broken. Suigetsu rises up as nude as he was born. Niji sighs at this. Would you please put some clothes on? Groaned Niji. Here, says Naruto, tossing Suigetsu a scroll. He unsealed it and finds the legendary Kubikura Bocho. He grins at Naruto. After getting dressed, they continue on their mission. Hey, I gotta ask? Who are we chasing? Asked Suigetsu. I'll tell you when we have Yugo and Karen, says Naruto, causing Suigetsu to sigh, grumbling about bossy blondes. Now everyone holds on to me, says Naruto as everyone placed their hand on him and they vanish in yellow lights. As Karen was watching over an inmate, she senses several chakra signatures, but this confused the young redhead since these chakra signatures had literally appeared out of nowhere. She could recognize two belonging to Suigetsu and Enko. She had no idea who the others were. Her eyes went wide as she senses the chakra from Naruto. It was far larger than any of his comrades. Who the hell is this guy? Wait, don't tell me this is the guy who killed Sasuke-kun and Orochimaru. But why here? There's nothing here, exclaimed a confused Karen as she runs her hands through her spiky red hair. After all, this place was nothing but a prison for Orochimaru's experiments. There was nothing of use. The redhead quickly grabs a kunai with sweat pouring down her face. She knew if this person wanted to kill her, easily finish her off without a second thought. She stood no chance against someone like Suigetsu. He did annoy, but she knew the teen could kill her no problem. Hell, she knew Enko could easily kill her. She was trained by Orochimaru. Karen wasn't a fighter. She was mainly used for support. Orochimaru never bothered to train her. The same can be said about her sensei in Kusagakure. Damn it. This isn't good. I'm no fighter, exclaimed Karen, outnumbered and outclassed, but she wasn't going to lie down. No, if she was gonna die, it's going to be on her terms. Karen takes a deep breath and scowls at her shaking limbs. She can sense them coming closer and closer each minute. His chakra was huge. He has more chakra than most ninjas, while Orochimaru's chakra felt vile and tainted. The blonde's felt like a raging whirlpool seeking to destroy his enemies. His chakra felt different than Sasuke's, whose felt dark and gloomy. Seeing no possible way out, she steps out of her office to meet Team Naruto. What are you doing here? Asked Karen, trying to put on a strong face. She quickly takes notice of Niji, and she knows. She curses her luck. Naruto smiles at her. Hello, Karen Uzumaki. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, said Naruto, shocking the red-haired female. From your expression, you are aware of our clan, which means I won't have explained the other part, says Naruto. Seeing she was in no danger, she stares at him with uncertainty. If you're not here to kill me, then what do you want? Asked Karen. In front of her was the man who killed Orochimaru and Sasuke. He was also an Uzumaki, and unlike her, he was trained to kill and most likely trained in Fuinjutsu. I want you to join Konoha and to help me. Besides, your skills are being wasted in this shithole, says Naruto. What do you need my help for? Asked Karen. Yujutoni the Nibi Jinchuriki. 2 members of the Akatsuki are after her, and I want to stop them before they have the chance of capturing her. You are an Uzumaki, so you mostly saw the disgusting side of people. Plus in Konoha, you can have a life. Both the Uchiha and Senju are a dying clan, but us we Uzumaki survive. I for one am through with my fellow clansmen having to suffer. We shouldn't have to hide our clan status. No, we should stand united and kill anyone who dares think they can oppress us. So I'll ask again, will you join me? I promised once I become Hokage I'll make it a place where our clan can live in peace, says Naruto. He extended his hand out. She stares at his hand for a minute before shaking his hand. Okay, I'll help you, Naruto, says Karen. She didn't know why, but she felt like she could trust him. You know we're gonna get Yugo? teased Suigetsu, grinning at Karen. Shino turns to Suigetsu. Who is he exactly? All we know about is that he's the main factor to the curse mark? Questioned Shino. Yugo has a rare Kekii Genkai that makes his mind unstable. Yugo is insane, he'll kills us if we sneeze, yelled Karen. Everyone winced at her loud voice. We wasted enough time here, commented Naruto, ready to leave this place. He still needed to get Yugo, and he felt like convincing Yugo won't be as easy as convincing the other two. Karen's eyes opened wide with shock. It's 10 fucking days away, yelled Karen. I'm fast, replied Naruto. At the northern hideout, Yugo sits in his cell, mutter about which should he kill. If it's a man, I'll kill him. If it's a woman, I'll let her live, mumbled Yugo. He grins darkly as he hears fighting. His Kekii Genkai activates, turning his hand into some type of claw. No, I think if it's a woman, I'll kill her, grinned Yugo. As Suigetsu, Enko and Shino took care of the failed experiments, Niji and Karen lead both Naruto and Shizen. Are you sure this is the way? Asked Shizen. She glances at Naruto, who seems calm, but she can see in his eyes they were anything but calm. It was almost like there was a storm in his cerulean eyes. Niji nods his head. His Byakugan stares at Yugo. Yes, he's just sitting down in his cell, says Niji. Good, now be prepared for anything, ordered Naruto. Each of them agrees to know the man is a danger to himself and them. As they get closer and closer to his cell, he turns to Karen. Stay behind us, commented Naruto. She nods and hides behind Niji. Just as they approach the door, it burst off the hinges, ready to cut them down with axe arm. Niji quickly jumps into action, landing a few jabs on him that had sent him back. He roars in anger. Naruto then summons father and mother puppets. Father puppet extends its hand out, and a cable comes out, wrapping itself around Yugo's neck. Mother extends its hand out, causing a blade to come out. The blade is pressed against his chest with purple liquid dripping from the blade. I wouldn't move if I were you, says Naruto. Yugo looks down at the cable and notices small blades are built in the cable. Yugo looks in fear. WWW, what do you WW want? Stuttered a fearful expression. Seeing that Yugo isn't in a bloodthirsty mode, he pulls back his puppets. 1 minute he's ready to go on a bloodbath, and the next he's scared of his shadow, thought Naruto. We came to help you, says Shizen. Yugo turns to the black-haired woman. No can help me, says Yugo. Our village, can we have people who specialize in the mind? If anything, they can help you, says. She's right, Yugo. We also have the greatest medic, says Naruto. Yugo stares in shock and looks at them with hope. Can they really fix me? Asked. Will you join me, Yugo? I can really need your help, will you? Asked Naruto. Yugo nods his head, now feeling calm. Time skip. After a long, exhausting day of non-stop moving, Team Naruto had retired to a hotel in Shimagakure. Each of them had retired to their room except for Yugo, and Enko, the orange-haired man, is outside surrounded by various small animals. As for Enko, she's at a bar gorging out on alcohol and dango. Naruto was in his room shirtless. Place in front of him was Ryueisen. The blonde was meditating. This always helped him when he believed he will have a difficult mission. He also prayed to the past Uzumaki to guide him to a bright future. He wasn't the religious type. He did believe the assessors will sometimes watch over the next generation. It had also cleared his mind. He opened his eyes and summons both mother and father puppets. He begins tuning his puppets and making sure each gadget work. He couldn't afford to have them malfunction, especially since it was Lady Chio who gave him the mother and father puppets. He takes out 2 sealing papers and places paper on the 2 puppets. Naruto connects his chakra strings to father. As he moves his fingers, blades come out of the puppets' elbows, wrists, and heels. Good, these are still working, comments Naruto. He then retracts the blades and attaches them to mother. He moves his fingers, causing ninja wires to be released from the fingertips. As the wires retract, he moves his finger, causing a Sharingan eye to open on the palm. Sharingan unsealing technique. Susanoo needle fire thread, Sharingan Keifujutsu, Harahito, says Naruto. The 3 tomomorph, taking the form of 3 dots followed by 3 curves spiraling counterclockwise around the pupil. Golden chakra needs are released from the eye. The needles skewed a wooden post. Naruto smirks at this. He moves his fingers, causing the eye to close. He then hears the sound of knocking. He gets up and opens the door, and sees Shizen standing. Seeing him shirtless causes her to blush at his tone. Can I come in? Asked a blushing Shizen. He nods in agreement. As he steps aside, Shizen sits on the couch. She looks at him with a concerned look. Are you okay, Naruto? Asked Shizen. Naruto sits down next to her, and runs his hand through his hair. It's Zetsu and Tobi. Something about them just isn't right, says Naruto. What do you mean? Asked Shizen. There's no information about them, nothing about their abilities, not even about their village, and Shisho said those 2 have been in the Akatsuki before him and Orochimaru, groaned Naruto in frustration. Shizen placed her on top of his. You shouldn't stress yourself, Naruto. I'm sure of whoever these 2, they can't be bad as Itachi or Kisame. You've killed 3 S rank 3 powerful. I'm positive you can kill Zetsu and Tobi, says Shizen with a smile. Naruto smiles back warmly at her. She places her hand on his cheek and blushes harder. As she hears a purr coming from Naruto, places his hand on her cheek, caressing her soft, smooth cheek. As the 2 inches closer to one another, their faces connect. Shizen moans at the kiss. Naruto enters his tongue into the woman's mouth, enjoying the moans coming from the petite woman. They pull away from each other. Shizen pants heavily, never accepting to kiss him, but before she can gain her bearing, he attacks her neck, sucking on her neck, causing her to let out a moan. Naruto then travels down to her collarbone and nibbles her. She wraps her arms around him tightly. OHH Kami. Yes, Naruto. moaned Shizen. He pulls away from her neck. She looks at him with a hazy graze. She attacks his neck, sucking on his Adam's apple. He released a low growl. Come here, growled Naruto. He picked her up and placed her on his lap. His hands moved towards her firm bottom. She moans loudly. She pulls away from his neck, attack his mouth, entering her tongue, in his mouth, attacking his tongue.